I need a new software. Can you guys hear me? It should be working now. This is a total nightmare. Complete trash. Woo! They're not all going to be pretty, friends, just like these streams are not going to be pretty. John Woodson completely jinxed me, you piece of trash. And your New Jersey Devils survive a nail-biting, sloppy one, a complete slop fest of a hockey game, and are victorious in Detroit, beating the Red Wings by a score of 5-4. And my God, it was ugly, boys. It was ugly, but a win is a win is a win. 2 beautiful points in the bank for your New Jersey Devils. And you guys already know, win or lose, we booze. We're going with Marty's Vodka, Dirty Devil Vodka, smooth as hell. And wow, guys, what a roller coaster of emotions we experienced in Detroit this afternoon. Devils, for the 6th game in a row, give up the first goal. For the 3rd game in a row, Markey gives up the first goal on the first shot. I mean, wow. I wasn't but cheers to all my Devils fans. Wow, this one was absolutely frightening. Frightening on so many levels. Shout out to the good people at Seagram's as well, but wow. Wow, oh wow. An uglier one on the season, guys. One of the uglier ones on the season, but they count all the same. Your New Jersey Devils avoid back-to-back losses, taking out the Wings and surviving an absolute just wow. Wow. And just so you guys know, on a side note, all the shit looks like it's working on my end, and then I go live, and then it does, but I'm trying to work through that. But appreciate you all for sticking through. Usually it's only a very short little kerfuffle here, but wow, that last couple minutes of the game, some of you were in the chat early, and I said once they pull the goalie, it's going to feel like an eternity. It literally, from when Talbot came out of the net, that last 2 minutes or so felt like 3 hours. Also, every power play the Red Wings had felt like an eternity as well. I mean, wow, talk about surviving a scare, and hopefully they learn from these games. Grow and learn, baby. You got to win some ugly ones, and this one certainly was ugly. Overcame a 2-goal deficit, eventually had a 2-goal lead and immediately blew that, and then buckled down and found a way to win, and wow. Quality win regardless of how ugly it was. 2 points on the road against the Red Wings team that plays us very tough. But we get to the scoring here. First period didn't take long. 3:41 in. Wings moving it around. On the power play. Power play is winding down. Tarasenko rips one from the top of the circle. It beats Markstrom. And I think that's one he's got to save. Like I said, 3rd game in a row, first shot on goal goes in. I believe a lot of Flames fans had mentioned that in comments after we obtained Markstrom in the summer. I think a lot of people did point out that apparently this is a thing with him where the first shot on goal could go in. But 3rd game in a row that it's happened with Markstrom. 6th in a row, the Devils give up the first goal. Kind of discouraging stuff. Hopefully they work on that. But Wings up 1-0 on Tarasenko's 3rd of the year on the power play, 3:41. And then a little while later at 9:22, and this was a really bizarre one, Lucas Raymond comes in on a wide wraparound attempt, and it banks off Timo skating in. A completely fluke goal. Wings up 2-0. And at this point, I was a little dejected. It seemed like it was going to be one of those nights where it may have just been not our night. But that was not the case. The boys dug deep at 18:05 on the power play. Devils win the faceoff. Nico tries to get a shot off. It's blocked by the defenders. Puck comes to Dougie. He steps up, grabs it, and just rips one top corner on a beautiful wrister. Dougie Hamilton is 4th of the year on the power play. And when Dougie's releasing, man, good things happen. It feels like he's starting to shoot now more. It's not the typical clapper from the blue line that we're used to seeing. Now he's kind of wristing them, picking spots, and sniping. And Dougie's 4th of the year from Nico and Jack Hughes cuts the Detroit lead to 2-1 at 16:05. And then we get to the waning moments of that first period on the power play. Devils moving the puck around towards what was the end of a very sloppy power play. I mean, that power play was super sloppy. Very ugly indeed. And Luke Hughes gets it across to Timo in the circle, and he one-times one right in the back of the net.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Timo fucking Meyer, his 8th of the season on the power play from Luke and Tatar. Ties the game up at 2, and that is how the first period ends. And after the way the period started, after the first 20, I was like, all right, boys. I mean, we were in a 2-0 hole. We get 2 goals late, tie it up. Seemed like all the momentum's in our favor, and I was feeling good at that point. But scary first period. We go to the second. Detroit's on a power play. We kill it off. Seconds after it expires, Sherratt just rips one from the point, and Mott gets a little piece of it. It doesn't change directions too much, and I think Markstrom should have had this one as well, if I'm being honest. But for another one of these shots from the point that somehow miraculously find their way in by divine intervention or a tip, deflection, and Mott gets a little piece of it, enough to fool Markstrom. Detroit up 3-2 at 1:26. But that didn't keep the Devils down. Your New Jersey Devils, your battle-tested Devils facing adversity, and they're like, we're not going down like that. The captain. Oh, captain, my captain. At 11:10, Devils working it down low. Detroit tries to clear. Kovacevic makes a beautiful keep. The puck gets to Timo. He feeds Nico in the slot, and he buries it.
He's pretty, and he lives in Jersey City. Number 13, Nico Hishauza.
El Capitan Nico Hishauza. His 3rd goal in Detroit on the season, by the way. Kind of crazy. The captain's 14th at 11:10. Ties it up at 3. Assist to Timo Meyer and Johnny Kovacevic. And we have us a game at this point. I mean, now we're just in an absolute battle. Absolute battle. Nico ties it up at 11:10. And then at 16:49, Luke Hughes. Shout out to Luke Hughes, by the way. Luke Hughes was flying all over the place all night long, showing shades of some of the play we got accustomed to seeing from him, especially in the offensive zone, just flying all over the place. Luke Hughes rushes up the ice from the D zone, gets it to Nico. Nico gets it back to him. Luke rips a shot on net. It's saved. Rebound in front, and Nason, my man Stefan Nason, just whacking away relentlessly. Like he's chopping down a tree in that crease, just whacking away. Finally gets it in. Nason's 11th at 16:49 gives your New Jersey Devils the 4-3 lead. And that is how the second period ends. And now we all know Devils up 4-3 going into the third. This is going to be one of those games where you sweat it out. Third period starts on the power play at 3:05. Jack gets it from Dougie near the point. He stick handles, takes a few strides towards the net, and he sees Nason with the nice screen in front. Picks top left corner, stick side. Boop! Jackie boy snipes it right there, top left. Talbot never saw it. Jack's 9th of the season on the power play from Dougie and Bratt gives the Devils the 5-3 lead. And obviously, because the New Jersey Devils cannot have nice things, the 2-goal lead was very short-lived because 22 whole seconds later at 3:27, Holt just takes a wrister from behind the circle. Markstrom, on the replay, it looks like Markstrom makes the blocker save, and it kind of banks off of Siegenthaler and goes in. Another very weird goal, very unlucky. Again, would have liked to see Markstrom either absorb that shot or, save it some other way where these things don't keep happening. Not the best game for Markstrom. A lot of weird goals in his defense, but I mean, it just, he's got to get better. But Hull cuts the Devils lead to 5-4 at 3:27, and then the Devils survived what seemed like a very long onslaught, especially with the netminder pulled, and your New Jersey Devils find a way to hang on and win. Oh, wait, hold on. And the Devils find a way to win. Traveling Devil, thank you for the super chat, sir. Funds for channel equipment software. Let's go Devils. 3x3 for Markstrom. Appreciate you, Traveling Devil. Markey, he made, and in defense of Markstrom, he did make some huge saves. He had one where he got across the net and kind of stretched for one that was big. Obviously, I think in the third period, he made a crazy one with the glove, like a point blank that was like someone sniped up top, and he just got the glove up and whacked it up over the net. I mean, he made some great saves. He made some absolutely amazing saves, but it seems like he let some stinkers in, and tonight was no different. Again, some weird, bizarre bounces. one off of a skate on the wraparound, and people are deflecting him from the point. But he did make some big ones when it mattered. If we're being fair, Aaron, thank you, sir. I think we learned how invaluable Timo is on this team. Guy is gutless out there. Here's a few pennies towards new software review. Let's go Devils. You guys are killing me with the software. And it's a good software. I know professionals that use it, but the reality is this shit, I'm not the only one that deals with it. It's super annoying, but thank you very much, Aaron. Appreciate it. But wow, what a game from team. The two guys that stuck out the most to me in this game, probably Luke Hughes flying everywhere, and Timo Meier was doing Timo things, a bull getting shots on goal, creating chances. Let me just take a look here before I start diving into the chat. Yeah, Timo with a goal and an assist, 5 shots, 7 hits for Timo Meier. Come on down, baby. 7 hits. That might be a season high for anybody in a game. 7 hits. My man Nace had 5. Palat with 4 hits. Curtis McDermott with 2. Paul Cotter with 5. Paul Cotter absolutely destroyed somebody behind the net in the third period. I forget who. Absolutely blew somebody up. Absolute animal. Paul Cotter not showing up on the score sheet, but was an absolute animal along the walls and in the corners all night like he is most games. Haula with 2 hits. Jesper Bratt with a hit. Mercer with a hit. Brendan Dillon with 2 hits. And somehow no other defenseman credited with a hit, which seems weird. Yeah, Dillon with 2 hits and 0 credited total to Hamilton, Kovacevic, Pesce, Hughes, and Siegenthaler. I don't know, but Siegenthaler with 4 blocks. Kovacevic and Hamilton with 2 blocks each. Jack Hughes with 2 blocks. Hall with the block. Cotter with 3 blocks. Timo Meier with 5 blocks. Yeah, the heavier, edgier, more violent award for tonight, I'm going to have to give it to Timo. A goal and an assist for 2 points with 5 shots and 7 hits. Wow. Timo looking like the guy we all wanted to see when we traded for him, when we signed him. Coming fresh off that, in my opinion, unwarranted suspension. Cheers to Timo. Came back and had a hell of a game. Arguably probably one of Timo's best games of the season. Wow. What time is it? 6:32. Okay, I'm just looking here. Michael Miranda. I know people can be harsh on Markey, but he made some incredible saves tonight as well, which he did. No doubt, he did make some big ones. It's kind of weird how sometimes it seems like he lets in these, easier shots and makes the crazy saves, but he definitely had some huge ones. And that glove save definitely comes to mind as one of the more recent crazy ones. And he had a couple others that were pretty dandy as well. Chris Wilson, Timo played great as that entire line. Yeah, man. Timo was out there doing Timo things, and this is the Timo we need to see more of. Maybe, that game suspension kind of reinvigorated him. SST, Ace going to spend this money on booze, not equipment. I mean, that's a fair accusation, I suppose. Traveling Devil Markstrom made a lot of great saves tonight. Just needs to clean up the start of the game. Yeah, and it's crazy how 3 games in a row to give up the first shot on goal is a goal. I mean, like that's just like so random. And then to make some of the saves that he made. Yeah, I don't know what it is about his slow starts, but he needs to get over it because a lot of teams will kind of go into a shell like the Blues did the other night. Once the Blues had the lead, they were like, we're not doing shit. They had 1 shot on goal in the second period. They're just like waiting for that game to end at that point. Luckily, we had that power play and a couple other chances to tie the game up and to force Detroit to have to actually play and not just try to sit on the lead. But wow, what a gutsy road W for your New Jersey Devils. Chris, Markey had made some huge saves, absolutely kept them in it. 2 bad goals, but puck luck is that for a reason. Yeah, that's fair. Ryder, he makes great saves after the first one goes in. It's kind of mind-boggling, but I do love the guy. No, I love Markey too, but he's got to start, getting a little bit tighter because it did seem like he was kind of fighting the puck off all night. Even that one that banked off his glove and off of Siegenthaler, like, come on, you got to. Michael Miranda, Allen, I think the boys play better structure in front of, though, I will say that. It does seem the team plays better with Allen in there for whatever reason. It could be a total coincidence. Bob Jones' 4th line keeps dwindling. Yep, it seems like Palat's going to be, not Palat, Tatar. I'm all over the place. Tatar was injured, left the game, and now if he's out, the 4th line has been like, and again, injuries are part of the game, and I hate to be this way, but if you're being completely blunt, you rather have fourth liners get hurt than guys like Dougie, Jack, Nico, etc. But now it's just crazy that the fourth line has just been decimated multiple times over. Lazar out, Bastion out, now Tatar. I mean, Fitzy's going to have to get some fourth line help in a hurry. I think, he's not going to have the luxury of waiting till the deadline. I'm curious to see if Tatar's out, how we handle that. I would like to see Hallinan get a look. Foote was just sent down to Utica, I believe, yesterday or today. He might get recalled immediately. I really would like to see Brian Hallinan get a look. I think he might be able to contribute some sort of offense to the fourth line, as well as bring a little bit of a heavier and edgier game. I've been waiting for him to get his chance, and now maybe with another injury to the fourth line, maybe we will see him get a look. But wow, I mean, we'll talk about unlucky as far as injuries go to the fourth line. It's kind of wild at this point. Traveling Devil, Timo was so worth the money. Oh, I agree with you there. Chris Wilson, Timo was crushing people tonight. Yes, he was. He was all over the place. Queens, New York guy, Luke needs to fly into the net. We need some goals, buddy. I thought he was going to get one, man. He was all over the place. How many shots on goal did he get credited with? I feel like he was just creating all over, and maybe, 4 shots. And he probably had a couple more attempts as well. He was just everywhere, showing shades of the old Luke Hughes minus the defensive liability for the most part. But wow, what a game. What a way to survive. And like we've talked about here time and time again, they're not all going to be pretty. Some are going to be ugly. And tonight was an ugly one. It was an ugly one. They found a way to survive, overcame a two-goal deficit. And these are the types of ways you got to win every type of way in this league, especially in the playoffs. And wow, another statement win to some extent for the Devils, just overcoming tons of adversity, down a forward. I mean, wow. Any word on Tatar, fourth line looking weak? Well, you guys already know my big joke. The Devils, I think, officially have come out and said that Tatar suffered. Anyone have any guesses what they said? Tatar suffered a lower body injury. LBI, baby. Lower body injury. Their two favorite injuries are upper body and lower body. That's it. Upper body injury, lower body injury. And that's what they said. So again, he could be a day to day. He could be out for weeks. He could be out for months. No idea what the situation is. Maybe we'll hear more tomorrow. Ryan, big win. Absolutely. James Valenti, number 47, blasted Hall like an AK-47. Paul Cotter is just an animal. Absolutely love the guy. Playoff Paulie is going to be unbelievable. Jared, Timo time. It's always Timo time here, Jared. And Timo time, until I change this battery, has been 10-17 for probably a few months now. But absolutely love Timo. It's always Timo time here in the Running with the Devil studio. Queens, New York guy. Paul Cotter is the closest thing to Scott Stevens hit-wise we've seen since the old captain retired in 05. Well, I mean, listen. I'm not going to say anyone's even remotely close to Scott Stevens. But in terms of just rage and aggression and that dog in you, I mean, Cotter definitely has shades of it. Yo, Holmes, what up, Yo, Holmes? Timo was on the gas today. Timo was everywhere, and I do like that line. I think that might stick around. And, another guy, Stefan Nason, brought in to be a bottom 6 guy in the summer by Fitz. It now looks like he might stick in the top 6 on power play 1. I mean, what a value play. Nason had a stint here with the Devils for a little bit, went down to Hot Rod Bryn Mawr University in Carolina and came back a new player. And this guy is just a beast. Yeah, we obtained him for some physicality in that bottom 6, and he ends up stealing Timo's spot on power play 1 in front of the net. And now he's going to be on the second line, and I wouldn't be shocked if he sticks there. I mean, Nason has to be one of the biggest surprises league-wide, I would imagine. Chris Wilson with Timo and Nason together, that line is beast mode. Yeah, Timo and Nason on a line together are beast mode. Absolutely. My only question is it too much beast for one line? I obviously wish we had the personnel to have a couple lines like that. I just wonder, should one of those, because to me, Nason and Timo are our two most physical forwards, do one of them belong with Jack? And can that work? Jack and Jesper need a guy like them too, but they are flying, and I love Nico, Timo, Nason. I think that's a great line. We'll see how it goes, but I wish we had one other physical guy that could, we've talked about this, to play with Jesper and Jack. Luke, the Nico line was relentless and swarmed it up like Pete DeBoer would say. They were swarming everywhere. Wasted Youth Comics and Action Figures. Ace, I'm drunk. I hold my breath sometimes with Markey, needed that win. Win or lose, we get drunk. Win or lose, we booze. And they found a way. They found a way to overcome the 2-goal deficit and then hang on to the lead. And it was scary. It was absolutely scary. Queens, New York. I left New York almost 9 years ago. I'm in Florida now. In St. Paul, Streamlabs is the way to go. I bet you there's issues with that, though. None of these things are foolproof. That's what I've come to learn. But I'll definitely, I think, I'll look into that. Solid game from Siegs. Siegs is the unsung hero of the team this season. The dude is so solid. Gem card collecting. It's time for a fourth line center trade. It's clearly time. I think it is. I mean, the fourth line just keeps getting decimated to the point where guys that weren't even supposed to be on the fourth line, like Tatar, are now just getting knocked out of the lineup as well. It's a lot of injuries to overcome. Like I said, you knock on wood, but you rather see fourth liners get hurt than your main guys. But damn, like what are the odds of like an entire literal whole fourth line being injured? Lazar, Bastion, Tatar. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. Time to get a fourth line center at least. Wasted Youth comics and action figures. Thanks for all the content recently, bro. It's wicked. I am drunk. Got off work early here in Sydney, Nova Scotia to watch the boys. Too many beers already. We keep drinking. Win celebration. Nice. You have a good time, sir. Appreciate you watching. Jared, hey, Ace, with the Tar now out with injury and that fourth line depleted, who's a realistic forward we could bring in via free agency or trade? A lot of people are throwing around Frederick from Boston, I would like, but there's tons. Fourth liners are a little bit easier of a solve than like a top six guy. A lot of people on here are itching for a top six winger, as am I, to play with Jack and Jesper, hopefully, but we're going to see. That one might have to wait more towards the deadline, but fourth line players, I mean, there's guys out there. I'm sure a lot of people are going to throw names out, but I like Frederick. He's a little bit of a heavier, edgier, more violent guy. I don't know what Boston, what their plans are for the, kind of short to long-term outlook of their club. A lot of people are like, they're kind of, fending off an eventual retooling or rebuild of some kind. But if they, if Frederick could become available, I certainly would be interested. And there's got to be a ton of other guys out there too. Yo, Holmes, foot down, would like Hallinan as well. Yeah, Hallinan deserves a crack. I mean, they gave Bowers a look. He might. I'm assuming now Bowers will probably be in tomorrow. He's already here, I believe. And so that one seems like he'll be in. How can we forget another game after a little bit of a hiatus? The toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, back in the lineup, and another New Jersey Devils win with Curtis McDermott in the lineup. I hope Curtis is in the lineup tomorrow against Washington. I really do. Val Hallinan in. Ryder, looking for fourth line help is the best serious problem you could have. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Like I said before, having to get fourth line help as opposed to, oh shit, one of our top six guys or Dougie went down, something like that, would be way more, a much bigger problem to have to overcome or fix. Morgan Williams, Rags and Canes lost in regulation and Devils win. It's a great night. Oh, baby. Rags and Canes lose in regulation. You love to see it. What happened? Did the Caps end up winning? I haven't looked at anything. You guys were talking about that in the chat. Damn it. The Caps won in OT. Man, the Islanders I didn't think the Islanders were going to be this bad. I thought the Islanders would at least, be kicking around, looking for a playoff spot. Unfortunately, there was not a Brendan Dillon fight, but there was a response to Rasmussen, and Kovacevic fought him. I use the term fighting fairly loosely. I mean, listen, it was a legitimate fight. They dropped the gloves, but another one that ended up kind of in a wrestling tussle match. And Kovacevic lost his footing, and they got wrestled down. I think he threw a couple punches when they were down, but not the most entertaining fight. Kovacevic did fight him. Queens, New York guy. I think a lot of the guys are right, Ace. We need to sign some players to have a more solid fourth line. Those days are over when Lemieux, Yager, Turgeon, Thomas, two guys can carry a team. Yeah, I do think we do have pretty balanced scoring. I mean, obviously our top six is good. We have been getting not tons, but Mercer could chip in. Halla, occasionally defenseman. Dougie gets another one tonight. Yeah, I guess if you look tonight, technically, Jack, Nason, Nico. Yeah, tonight was dominated by the top six. Jack, Nason, Nico, Timo, and then a little Dougie on there. Eaton Beaver. Fitz should go after Dvorak from Habs. Solid in the dot. Nason is a straight dog. Absolute junkyard dog. Love Stefan Nason. Easily one of my favorite players on the team. This guy does everything. Hits, agitates, gets to the net, could pass, could shoot. Just whacking away in that crease. He was not going to be stopped. That rebound was sitting there, and he was just whacking away until he finally buried it. And, man, shout out to Nason is just an absolute junkyard dog. I wish we could bring him in the lab and clone him a couple times, because if we had one or two more guys like Nason, we'd be in much better shape. Chris Wilson, get Big Mac in the lineup now. Needs some more nice beatings to pump the boys up game in and game out. McDermott was in the lineup tonight. The Devils won, and he should be in the lineup tomorrow night against Washington. James Valenti, did you catch the intermission interview with Dylan? When asked if he could have dinner with any athlete, he answered Scott Stevens. Great answer. I did see that. I love Brendan Dillon, and I will tell you guys, I only interacted with him once at that signing, and I have a couple clips of it in that video, but I did talk to him for a while, and a good amount more than what I videotaped, because I was trying not to be a weirdo. He's a total old school guy. Through and through, old school guy. I had asked him if he knew any of the history about the dynasty years, New Jersey Devils, and he said he was familiar with some of it. And the one player he did mention by name was Scott Stevens, and he said, I'm very aware of Scott Stevens and his role in the franchise. And so I did enjoy that little snippet in his interview in the intermission as well. James, thought that was very interesting. But not surprised after he had mentioned Scott Stevens to me when we were talking about the old days, and just another, very heavier edger, more violent defenseman that Scott Stevens was. Dylan plays not a similar game, but a defenseman with a mean streak. I could see him, and now playing for the Devils, I could see him wanting to, have that dinner with Scott Stevens. But I thought that was an interesting little tidbit as well. Ryan, I would say put Cotter with Jack and Brett. I was calling for that earlier in the season. We saw it. It was a very small glimpses of it. I would like to see it for like a full game just to see how it plays out. It seems like Keefe goes to things, and then we kind of jump around, and I think they may have started one game like that, and then there was a game where when Bratt was on the penalty kill, it was the shift after a penalty kill when Bratt would come off. Cotter would be with Jack in Bratt's spot. I would like to see the three of them. I'd also like to see, it's hard, man. It's hard. They just got to figure these lines out, because I do love Nico with Timo and Nason, but like, is the Jack Bratt Timo thing officially dead? Like, you would like that to work out, I think, but who knows? Chico Tazo, this was a game last year, Devils lose, and then go on to lose another two in frustrating fashion. The Devils are back. Cheers to that. I agree. Clawing back from desperate spots is a specialty of this year's team. It seems, to go 6 games in a row with giving up the first goal and winning 5 of them is pretty crazy. Tom, Markstrom doesn't need to be league average just to make more saves than the goal he is across from. This game proves it. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Tom. Traveling Devil, Jack and Nason would be good. Jack likes to throw pucks in the crease from the sides, and Nason is excellent in front of the goalie. Nason's one of those guys that I think, like Cotter, is going to contribute no matter where you put him. Oh man, Luke Perry. Does Chase Stillman get a sniff, or does he suck that much? It seems like he's dangerously close to being, I don't know. At one point, he was like the prospect that you thought was going to eventually break through. But now, let's just see something here. You know, he's been around for a few years now, and I feel like this is a big year. I'm not going to say make or break, but at some point, jeez, in 14 games at Utica this year, he has 1 goal, 1 assist, and is a -7. I would say it's not looking too good, if I'm being honest. I would say the outlook is not looking too good for Chase Stillman. And if he never gets called up with all these fourth line injuries, I think that already tells you, everything you need to know as far as his future, at least with the New Jersey Devils. Gentleman 7. What's nice about Luke's progression now is even with so many looks on offense, he's defending really well when he needs to. Luke and Pesci line is a sick D pair. Absolutely. And they flashed a thing during the game. Let me just see. Yeah, Luke and Pesci as a pair are 6th in the league for defensive pairings with a 1.3 goals against per 60. And Siegenthaler and Kovacevic are 1.67 goals against per 60, 13th in the NHL. Interesting that Luke and Pesci just getting it done, and Pesci has been quite a blessing for Luke Hughes. Let's be real. I mean, wow. Luke couldn't have asked for a better partner. Jerome D'Angelo, Ace, are you concerned about the Devils' 5-on-5 scoring? Power play is great, but even strength needs to be better. Yeah, absolutely. 5-on-5 has struggled. It is a little concerning. Hopefully, Fitz can make a couple trades to help us out here, but when you get power play chances, you got to make the most of it. Obviously, you don't want to live and die with the power play, but luckily the power play has been able to save us on a lot of nights, because that power play, what was the let me see, what were we officially on the power play tonight? 3 for 4, my God. And the third best power play in the league, I'm now imagining, is going to jump back up to 7. 3 for 4 on the night. Wow. Wowzers. 75%. We're hovering, I think, at around 30% on the season. And when 75% tonight, I mean, sheesh. That power play is hot. Hot. But yeah, they got to find a way. I mean, in the pregame, or I don't know if it was after practice, I forget. I watch all the clips. Sheldon Keefe was talking about how, one of the main issues he knew he was going to have to tackle as the new head coach was that he realized the book on the Devils was shut down the rush, clog up the middle, force them to the outside, and don't let them score in transition. And he said, we have to, get better at scoring both at even strength and just like off of, ozone sustained possessions and not just off the rush. And we had at least a couple of those tonight. The Nico one wasn't in transition. I'm trying to think. Yeah, you got to just be able to score a variety of ways and not rely on the power play. The power play bailed us out yet again tonight. They will get better 5-on-5, I think, but a lot of that's going to come with, the fourth line has obviously been just decimated. And that's not going to be easy for anyone. Oh, I see him scrolling in my eyes here. Some of you guys are getting funny. SP, time on ice, 4:30 for McDermott. We need more ice time from him. This was a close game. So I think in games like this, you're not going to see him too much. I was shocked to see him out there in the third period. I think midway, when I saw him out there, I was like, ooh, my man Curtis getting a shift and a tight one on the road. But I think, Keefe likes to deploy him situationally. One evil Brady. Oh, that's my dream, but I think it is just a dream at this point. Mike, I think Dowling should stay. He's been playing good. I think we need a fourth line winger instead of a center. Yeah, but do you really want Dowling to be like your fourth line center for the playoffs? I mean, it's still early, but I feel like if you have a chance to upgrade, you have to. SST, where's Woodson? He didn't get banned, did he? SST must be doing one of his usernames on his laptop and one on his phone. I think that's how he's rolling here. Zegras for Wasted Youth Comics and Action Figures. Zegras for Nemitz. I would never do that deal ever. I'll be honest. I want no part of Zegras. To me, he is another kind of young, skilled guy. And to me, weak. I don't want a guy like that. I want another guy like a Nason, or maybe a guy that's a little less nasty with a little more skill. But I don't want any more children. And to me, Zegras is a child. Not interested. I want more Nasons and Cotters. Insane Pollock, to defend Markstrom, least he's not letting stinkers in with the game on the line. Most of his goals giving up tonight were shit luck. I know, but I can't let him off the hook every time with bad luck. It does seem like it's been happening a lot. These weird deflections and bounces, but at some point, like, you got to find a way. Chico, Meyer and Nason in a perfect world, one of Timo or Nason would be with Jack, but I'm very much on team don't rock the boat right now. As long as they're playing well with Nico, change nothing. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. Michael Miranda, I'd like to take the guy from the Sharks, Nico Sturm, for 4C. I've seen a couple people have talked about him. We need McDermott in the lineup to take care of Biff on the Caps. F. Zegras, I'm with you on that. Luke Perry, I just looked up Stillman stats. Woof is right. Luke Perry, shout out to Ridgewood, Queens. Rangers are imploding from Traveling Devil. Jay Snow, I want Devils to get Matthew Oliver. He's only making $1 million. Same here, Jay Snow. Chico, Devils had 20 high danger chances on 29 shots. They were definitely creating chances well, even if the rest of the game looked a little meh. I mean, there was ugly points. It did seem like Jack's line was getting pinned in our own end a lot and unable to clear. I mean, there was a lot of ugly stretches of this game, but in the end, what a freaking road W for your New Jersey Devils, surviving the Wings in Detroit. I mean, wow, guys. Massive 2 points, and now they got to come right back tomorrow. We're going to see Jake Allen in net, and we're taking on the Caps. Taking on the Caps in another big one. And the Caps got that freaking overtime win, those bastards. Yeah, tomorrow's another huge game. And that, setting up, leading right into that Ranger game on Monday, and what a bloodbath that's going to be. Wow. I can't wait. I can't wait for tomorrow or Monday. Queens, New York, let's just keep Cotter with Jack and Bratt. They need a third, heavier, edgier line mate. They do. They do, but it's like anytime you move one of these guys, the line that they're getting moved from takes a substantial hit. I think long term that Cotter, Halla, and Mercer could be a great line as well. It's all very interesting. I think we're still not completely out of the kind of experimenting with the lines, but that second line with Nico, with Timo and Nason looks like it could be one to stay. Michael Shane, Mercer plus Nemitz plus second for Brady. Oof. I don't know how many Devils fans would say no to that. I'm sure there's some that would, but I'm not one of them. Shit. Jay Snow, Fitz got to fix his fourth line. They traded, I think, a fourth rounder for Kovacevic. That was complete theft, though. Not every deal could be as much of a theft as they turn out to be, but obviously a fourth rounder for Kovacevic has to be one of the biggest robberies in quite a while. I mean, Kovacevic has turned into just an excellent defender for this New Jersey Devils team and was slated to start the season as a seventh D-man. Pretty wild. Jackson, all the top guys scored picture perfect indeed, minus some of the sloppy stretches of the game and the goals we gave up. What's going on, Joseph? SST, I told you about Matt a long time ago, traveling, that we need him. Justin Ace, always love a Devils win, but man, Markstrom is far from being a shutdown goalie. He definitely did not look good today, guys. I'm not going to tell you he did. I do think he eventually will have better stats than he has now, but I'm not opposed to seeing how Allen plays and give him a little run. I mean, I'm always the guy that when one goalie is clearly playing better than the other, I have no allegiances in that way. I will always say, ride the hot hand, see what he could do. Let him, give him games and see what they could do. If Jake Allen has a great outing tomorrow at home against the Caps, I would have no reservations about starting him Monday in the Garden against the Rangers. None whatsoever. Queens, New York guy, Ace, only the old school Devils fans will understand why we want Curtis McDermott in the lineup every game. I don't know about every game, but I like him in more games than not. And especially even tonight, there was a lot of chippy plays. I forget who, Larkin was hacking at Markstrom's glove and someone shoved him, and then McDermott came over and it kind of separated. But, this is the NHL, guys. This is not the WNBA. This is not tennis. This is a kill or be killed sport. Gem card, I want Devils to get Olivier for the fourth line. Imagine him and McDermott playing together. Chico, I want Mac in the lineup just to see him beat the shit out of Tom Wilson tomorrow. I would like that. John Woodson, I'm here. You can't deflect the McDermott hype. Dude plays 5 minutes, hits one guy, or fights once every 3 or 4 games, and he gets praised like he's Bobby Orr. Whoever praised like he's Bobby Orr? I don't think that's ever happened. But look at the Devils' record with him in the lineup. I think you'd be surprised. And I'm not saying that's necessarily the reason why, but there's something to be said for that. Jason, the Devils are playing with great defensive structure under Keefe, but they have to find a better balance on offense at 5 versus 5. That could be something that's making them a little less effective right now. Well, I mean, the lines have kind of been experimental at this point. I mean, new lines not too long ago, and teams are trying to take away the transition, like Keefe said, and so they got to find a way to just, get goals off of forechecking, cycling down low, getting dirty ones. Sometimes you got to get dirty ones, and I think they'll get better at this as time goes on, but it's still, again, and no one wants to hear it, it's still early in the season. Today was game 26. Still early in the season. They're finding their way, but what a road victory, guys. Down 2-0 and come back to win. Jeff, let's go Devils, boozing like I'm in the CAA Winners Club. Shout out to the CAA Winners Club. Wow. Great memories. Chico, Jason, the last 2 games have been trending upwards. Like I said earlier today, they had 20 high danger chances. That seems like a little bit of an inflation if I'm being honest. Like, did they have 20 like legit high dangers? To me, no, but they're probably counting almost anything that was thrown towards net from that slot area. Timo had a couple that, were probably low percentage shots, but they were from kind of inside. So those are probably getting registered there. But, the game wasn't all doom and gloom, but it was just very, very sloppy. Very, very sloppy, and they got to clean it up. Jason, Ace, they got to tinker with Jack's line. I mean, there's not much to tinker with other than find a winger for them. I think him and Bratt definitely should be together. They are just phenomenal. Peanut butter and jelly, and they need a big, in my opinion, a physical winger that could score. Would be a perfect addition. Brady Tkachuk. JP, Jack Hughes, beautiful power play goal today. Absolutely beautiful. Nason in front. He just comes up, waits. He sees Nason in front. He just picks the corner, stick side, roofs it. Love to see it. Jack doing Jack things, and I was waiting for it all game. Ryder, Cotter's a puck hog. Nason needs to be with Jack and Bratt. Mercer can go back to take his spot. Okay. I mean, I would like to see at least one game of Nason with them. So you're saying Nason with Jack and Bratt, and then Mercer back to the. So where does that leave? So then you're putting Cotter back on the third? Or I would like to see everything experimented with. I lost my spot. Man, you guys type quick. Queens, New York. Dylan is our Christoph Oliwa, ready to scrap and kick ass to keep his spot on the team. New school Devils fans need to look up Oliwa highlights. Dude is a monster for us. I mean, no disrespect to Oliwa, one of probably my second favorite Devils enforcer of all time. Dylan is way more of a productive player to the team than Oliwa was. But what a legend Christoph Oliwa was. Wow. Some insane scraps back in the day. Number 29. They need a fourth line. They play with 3 lines tonight. Yeah, for sure. The guys who are talking about this in the chat during the game. At this point, they might be better to play 11 and 7 defensemen with Casey. I don't know about that. That always scares me. John Woodson, team will be gassed by the end of the year without a fourth line, but we aren't picking anyone up until after Christmas. Chris, Oliwa was a monster indeed. Love the Polish Hammer. Miss him for sure, Queens guy. He was a monster, man. Talk about the old school tough guys. Eaton Beaver, owner's going to let Fitz use any money if Tuna out long term? And that is the big question. A lot of people said I was a conspiracy theorist and said I was crazy. But the fact that, and maybe it was because they thought it was a lost season and they didn't want to invest money into it. I don't know. Maybe the owners will feel differently if they believe the roster could be a contending team that could go far in the playoffs. But the fact that they never used the Dougie LTIR money last year was both shocking and disappointing, if I'm being honest. Completely shocking and disappointing. Brian, do you think Rempe McDermott will be in the lineup on Monday? I definitely think McDermott's going to be in the lineup, and I can only hope that Rempe's in the lineup because I would love to see another rematch or even better, a line brawl. Probably won't see another line brawl, but I would love to see it. And we were talking about this a few games ago in the post-game, how sweet it would be if we sent out as our opening line on defense, Dylan and Kovacevic, and then the forwards, McDermott, Cotter, and Nason. Oof! Oof! What a beautiful starting five. What an absolute beautiful starting five. Pro Bolt forever. My biggest issue with the Devils is that they're inconsistent. They can beat good teams, but they crap their pants against bad teams a lot. I mean, listen, I made a whole video that came out this morning where they're more consistent than people give them credit for. If you look at every block of games, I mean, they win more games than they don't. Now, obviously, it sucks to get shut out by San Jose and shut out by St. Louis and all these things, but it is what it is. Hopefully they get it right. But I would rather, go into Florida and win those two games the way they did and beat Carolina and beat Washington, knowing that we can hang with the good teams and that on some off nights they're capable of losing to anyone. I mean, that sucks. But, show me a team that never loses to these bad teams. Every team, the parity in the NHL is unlike any other league, guys. 99 times out of 100, the best team in the NFL is going to beat a 0-15 team. But hockey, it's, a game of mistakes. A few mistakes within the game, and these bad teams could win. Michael, Shazikas, Sturm, Dow, Daniel Sprong, just some fourth line centers I would look at. Do the Devils rely on their power play too much? Yeah, they do. But so far, they've done fairly well with it. But yeah, they're going to have to score more goals 5-on-5, obviously. But we're going to need roster moves immediately. I mean, fourth line is just completely done. Yeah, if it's not done, he's got to make moves for sure. Where do you put Palat in the lineup? Keep him on the ice till playoff time? I mean, I don't think they're ever going to scratch Palat. And so he's just going to get shuffled around probably. Yeah, I don't know. You might just see him stuck on that first line. I don't know what the answer is. I would love to know behind closed doors what Jack and Jesper say amongst each other, but it doesn't seem like there's going to be any major moves anytime soon. John Woodson, unless someone gets hurt, there's no money to trade for anyone big. Palat isn't going anywhere this year. Only trade asset is Kova, and no thanks. If we traded him, I would riot. Fitz wanted a top 6 guy, but I'm guessing he couldn't make the cap work. I mean, after all the free agent signings we had, there was no money left essentially because they knew roughly what Dawson Mercer's contract was going to be. And so we had very little money. And so we got the budget signing of Tatar. What are you going to do? Luke Perry, they need more 5-on-5 lines like the Nico line, especially against these teams like the Blues, Wings, etc. Yeah, a little bit easier said than done, but ideally that would be great. B-Ted, I think Matt Olivier is pretty good. We should get him. Definitely no one ever thought of this before me. Yo, Holmes, NJ has been scouting hard recently. Scouts covering Montreal and Columbus fourth liners. People fighting. Tom, what I'm saying about goalies is that they're not playing against stats. They play against another goalie on the opposition. We just need Markstrom to play well enough to beat the opposition goalie. I mean, yeah, but tonight was not his finest moment. I don't think. Pro Bolt forever. Do you think Sheldon Keefe is doing good for the Devils? Yeah, I think Sheldon Keefe was a great hire. I think he's implementing a system. The guys are buying in slowly over time. I think he's holding them accountable. I think he's willing to do things that maybe Lindy wasn't. He was disappointed with the last effort at home against St. Louis, and he made them practice on Thanksgiving Day. I don't think Lindy would have had the sack to do that, if I'm being honest. Devils were on the ice yesterday on Thanksgiving. Lindy would have given them the day off for sure, even after the loss. Zegras stinks. If Devils had to get one Ranger, who would you want besides Shesterkin? Oh, my God. I don't know. I can't even think about it. See, I don't know. I can't even. I like Zegras, but at this point, he's a project. You don't give up Nemitz for a project player. I would never trade Nemitz for Zegras. Luke, SST is being too positive. Are you turning over a new leaf? Queens, New York guy. SST, we could have gotten Marchenko for a bargain in the offseason, but I guess Fitz thought what he got us was enough. I knew it wasn't. Man, I'm trying to catch up here. You chatty Cathys. Gentlemen, honestly, Mercer is an energizer every shift he plays, and he's had some great looks these last 2 games. Yeah, I love Mercer's game. It's all hustle, no quit. He brings a ton of energy. He has great speed. He has great vision, and his hustling contributes to a lot of goals, for sure. He had a couple plays against there. I was like, damn, look at my man Mercer get after it. Gets in hard on the forecheck a lot. He fights on the wall, I think, better than he gets credit for. Jason, no, we don't need a Kova theft. We're looking for a fourth-line center. Even Fitz admitted that he didn't think Kovacevic would even start. Yeah, no shit. But now that he's here, I don't want to be without him. And that's going to be another one I've talked about. Unfortunately, I do think in the summer, teams are going to line up to pay him crazy money. And because of the Devils' defensive depth, I think we might just let him walk. And it would suck. I hope it's not the case. But Bob Jones, he's definitely worth $4 million. He does everything, even if the points aren't always there. I think that's in reference to Mercer. John Woodson, the defense would be significantly worse without Kovacevic. I agree there. New York guy, exactly. Ace been feeling Allen should be the starter. I mean, I'm not going to crown him the starter, but I would give Allen a stretch of games and just see what he could do with it. If he could, have a solid outing tonight, I throw him out there Monday in the Garden. Insane Pollock. Ace, you think Wings fans still despise us for 95? The ones that lived through it, I'm sure. I mean, wow, that Red Wings team was loaded. Everyone was picking them to kill us. We were a huge underdog. I don't know what the actual betting line was, but I imagine it was pretty heavily in the Red Wings' favor. No one gave the Devils a chance, and then we went and swept them. Pretty wild for the fans. The old school fans. I'm sure they still have nightmares about that. That the 95 Wings got swept by the lowly Devils. That team was loaded too. That Wings team. They couldn't get past the Devils. What an amazing Stanley Cup final. Can Plot play emergency goalie? It's crazy we don't have a single NHL player to be on our fourth line. Plot needs to be better. Got to bring up Bowers now. Bowers, I don't think ever got sent back. I'm pretty sure Bowers is still up with the big club. Oliwa was an OG goon. Dylan's paired with Dougie to protect him and let him be physical. MK, chomp on this. Let's go Devils. Val, Rempe is a lost cause. Rempe is a bum. The Rangers need to win games. They're not playing Rempe. I don't know. In that Devil Ranger game, they might. Rempe does nothing but sell soup and merch for the Rangers. John Woodson, not shocking to use Dougie's LTIR. You don't destroy the future for a long shot first round exit. Well, I mean, why couldn't they have used the money on a long term piece? Why does it have to be? How is that destroying the future? That doesn't make sense. Queens, New York guy. We have 3 sick D pairings, so we kind of shouldn't be struggling, even with the lack of an actual decent fourth line. It's hard to win in this league without at least a adequate fourth line. And right now, it's just been a hodgepodge mixture of whatever we throw out there. John Woodson, the Caps in Tampa are downright scary players. Playoffs are all about getting a good draw. Devils are cooked if they play either. I disagree with that as well, John Woodson. I think I'd rather play Washington than Tampa. But there's going to be no easy wins in the playoffs. Jay Snow, Marky's been discouraging this year. He's been at best average. I'm hoping for a better version of him. Yeah, so am I. He hasn't been as terrible. He hasn't been terrible like some of the doomers around here would want you to believe, but he has been a bit underwhelming in my opinion, and hopefully he picks it up. Tampa won Cubs with a lethal power play, so I guess we never know. Lindy let the team act like a country club, that's for sure. Chico, Marky's inconsistency is exactly why I want more games for Jake Allen. Now I have time for the argument that more starts would even out Marky's play, but his stats disagree with that historically. I'm all about, if Allen plays a great game tomorrow, keep riding him. I'm all about that. Alex Shalom, if only we kept LeBanc from preseason, we could have him on the fourth line. The thing is, I don't know. I mean, I think LeBanc, to get the most out of LeBanc, ideally you don't want him to be a fourth liner. But with that being said, if it came down to it, I would still rather have him on our fourth line than what we have now. But Fitzy tried to get him. And it didn't pan out, and it is what it is. The path of least resistance for him was to go to Columbus. Turco Media, what's going on, Brian? Come on, guys, hit the like button. Don't be so stingy. Thank you, Brian. Hit the thumbs up, guys. It takes 0.3 seconds, and it's free. Jay Snow, I wouldn't give up anything for Zegras. I don't like his play at all. I'm not a Zegras guy either. Now, if we were able to steal him for something crazy, I would get him. But any substantial assets, I'm out. Puck Gobo, I think we probably ride out Plot for the season, then look to buy out if we can't offload, need the extra bucks for the big boy contracts. There's a bunch of guys coming off this summer, and I'm curious to see if they look at, if the Palat buyout becomes reality. I don't see it being the contract is tradable. I mean, maybe it could. I feel like you'd have to give retention. You'd have to give retention and overpay in terms of trade. Go Boro, thank you for the super chat, sir. Win or lose, we booze. Let's go Devils. Cheers. Woo! Win or lose, we booze. Victory drinks always taste better than loser drinks. And tonight we're drinking victory drinks for sure. The Devils survive a scary one in Detroit. Yeah, some of you guys are hilarious. SST been studying KHL film in the basement. Oh man, you guys are funny. Jerome, Devils need depth guys, but still keep winning. Keep it going until everyone is healthy. I don't know that everyone's going to be healthy anytime soon, though. That's the thing. Like, I'm convinced Lazar is most likely gone for the year. Bastion, if I'm being honest, I don't need to see him back. So, like, who are you waiting for until they're healthy? Lazar? I guess we don't know what's going on with Tatar. We'll find out, but it's a little wild. Traveling Devil SST is a crystal ball reader. How about Brandon Tanev from Seattle? I heard he could be a good fit for the fourth. What does he make? The Tanevs are nasty. I would take him for sure. He's definitely he's stupid. I would definitely take him if we had a crack at it. With Fitz's recent success in picking up depth, I have full faith he's going to find someone for the fourth line, but it'll take some time. Like Woodson said, it probably won't be until after Christmas. That's a long month. Chico, the great Lou Lamoriello used to say, when you have time, use it, and the Devils definitely have time. There's no rush. There isn't, but depending on these diagnoses of our injured fourth line players, I would rather get someone sooner than later and have all the time to build chemistry and maybe flop around some other guys on other lines if necessary to really try to get lines that work and get that consistency within those lines, heading into the playoffs. Before you know, it's going to be January, and then we're going to be like, oh, now it's March. Now we're kind of in the playoff drive, and it's happening so quickly. It's crazy. I can't believe we've played 26 games already. Hope we get Sam Bennett. Oh, man, I'd love Sam Bennett. I don't see him leaving Florida. I think he stays there, and I think he's going to get paid a ton of money. But Sam Bennett is a guy I would love to see in the black and red. Rangers are blowing up. Woo! Lazar being gone for the year hurts the fug out of me. Dude deserves so much better. Yeah, Lazar is one of the nicest guys on the team. Great team guy, great locker room guy. I'm not convinced he's coming back anytime soon, but we'll see how that goes. Jackson, I'm going to Devils game Monday. Let's get a line brawl. McDermott versus Troy this time. Trouba? Is that you meant to say Trouba? Comrade SST has orders from the Kremlin to sink Devils morale so Gritsuk doesn't leave Russia. Oh, man. SST needs time to go look up Russian wars. SST up late night losing the rent on SKA. Oh, man. You guys are funny. Let me see something. Did they update this? Yeah, into the game stats. Devils 29 shots on goal. Wings 28. Face-off percentage 46.8% for the Devils to 53.2% for the Wings. Devils 3 for 4 on the power play. Wow. Living and dying with the power play. Wings 1 for 4 on the power play. Devils with 30 hits. Love to see that. Wings 19 hits. Devils 13 block shots. Wings with 26 block shots. Devils with 26 giveaways. Way too many giveaways. Red Wings with 14 giveaways and the Devils with 5 takeaways. And Wings with 0 takeaways. Wow. What a game. What a survival. A completely ugly outing. I'll be the first to admit. A disgustingly ugly outing. But the Devils found a way to get the win. Found a way to get the W, and that's all that matters. Whether you win by 7 goals or win by 1, they all go down as 2 points in the standings. Jay Snow, you completely just copied and pasted that. Go Boro. I know there is the reach, but I want Dylan versus Rempe. Dylan ain't gonna give a shit. That guy's a warrior. I would like to see Dylan fight him too, but I do think, just for the sake of the theatrics and the drama of it all, that the toughest man in the National, Curtis McDermott, should handle that business. But I think a lot of people did Rempe play today for the let me see. Did Rempe play for the Rangers today? A lot of people are thinking he's not even going to play, which would be such a disappointment. Yeah, it looks like he didn't play today. So you know what? With the Rangers on this skid, we might not see Rempe in the lineup, which is fine. There's plenty of other dirtbags on that team that need to get it. I would love to see who would my number one that I would want to see smacked around. I would love to see Dylan beat the shit out of Keandre Miller. Yeah, after he fought John Marino last year and acted like some tough guy. Like, dude, my mother could beat up John Marino. What do you get? You're gonna celebrate and he did that stupid. Oh man, I hate that dirtbag. Yeah, I want to see Dylan smash him up. Wait, so how many games in a row have the Rangers lost now? 5? 5-game skid for the Rags. Yeah, they haven't won since, let's see, November 19th. Lost to the Flames. Oh, yes, they started off their West Coast road trip with a win at Seattle and a win in Vancouver, and then lost to Flames, lost to Oilers, went home, lost to the Blues, and then on the road, lost to Canes, lost to Flyers. Rangers on a 5-game skid. Oh, baby. That is so beautiful. Yeah, I'm feeling with the 5-game skid, we're not gonna see Rempe in the lineup, I don't think. And so we're gonna have to settle for someone smacking around Miller. Let McDermott crunch Miller for Siegenthaler. I'd love to see that. But I'm pretty sure Keandre Miller beat up Marino in the line brawl. Or not even beat him up. It was kind of weak. But in the post-game, Nason's first answer was, I thought we kind of shoo goblins off a little bit. Is that what he said? Shook goblins off a little bit. Amagi, I'll probably throw a huge fit if Rangers beat us since they've been so goddamn washed as of late. I don't want our boys to fall to those clowns. Do they play again? Oh, man, the Rangers. Yeah, the Rangers play tomorrow at home against the Canadians. Yeah, wow. The Rangers have, What a schedule. They were on the road, and now they play 1 million games at home. Let's see. Canadians at home, two. So that's 2, 3. Yeah, 6 of their next 7 games are at home. And then they have a lot of games on the road after that. Wow. That's interesting. Love to see the Rangers just completely falling apart. I don't get why Kovacevic took the fight, because he thinks he could win the fight. Also want to see Nason fighting too. Yeah, I want to see Nason crack somebody up for sure. Miller needs to get smacked. Biz just called Olivier toughest guy in the league. I'd like to see Kreider get his ass kicked. You guys are brutal. Danny DeVito can beat up John Marino. Queens, New York guy. Matt Ren and Stimpy Rempe is an embarrassment to the NHL. No skill whatsoever and thinks he's better than he actually is. Trash. Rempe or Miller both need a trip to the dentist. Miller's blowing this year for the Rangers. I'd like to see Kreider get his ass kicked. He scored against us too many times. Yeah, Kreider had a ton of goals that series, and he did really well in the playoffs last year too. If I'm not mistaken, I think he may have had a hat trick in. Was it in the elimination game again when they eliminated the Caps? I can't remember. But Robert Paulzer, what's up, Ace? Old man Rob here. Hope you and all our fans had a great Turkey Day. Not being a hatter, but I think he meant hater. Marky makes me nervous sometimes. Could have been a better game, but we'll take the win. Yeah, Markstrom scared the shit out of me too. Definitely a shaky one for him. But what's up to you, old man Rob? Yeah, he's been scaring me too. I am not, I'm rooting for him to do well, but I'm obviously always looking for whatever the best kind of situation is for the team to win games. And if Allen has a great game tomorrow against the Capitals at home, then I would throw him in there on Monday at the Garden against the Rangers easily, depending on how he plays, but we'll see. Krungs, I love seeing the Rangers having 9 less points than us with only 3 fewer games. The Rangers are just in a free fall right now. SST, Snow is afraid to talk to me in Russian. What a coward. Luke Perry just got messed up. Larry Brooks was crying on Twitter. What was Brooksy saying on Twitter? Last year was a rough year for us at Breaks. The Rangers are facing a little adversity. Derek H., lock up Luke Hughes as soon as you can. Sky's the limit for him. Oh, Derek, what do you think he's going to get paid? He's a restricted free agent this year. This has been a very big point of contention. A lot of people have been all over the place with their guesses as to what he's going to get paid. I think it's going to be a monster number. A lot of people think it's not going to be that crazy. And I will say that I think it's going to be between $7 and $8 million. A lot of people are saying like 4 or 5. I just can't see it. Listen, I'd be ecstatic if it happened, but I don't think so. But I will say also, I totally forgot about this, sort of unrelated. There was also a segment in one of the intermissions with Rachel Herzog talking to Luke Hughes about a bunch of stuff, and I think they were rewatching some of his plays, and they were talking about the Hughes Bowl against Quinn, and he was talking about how he followed in Quinn's footsteps with a lot of different things throughout his career in terms of, playing at Michigan and then going to the program and just kind of following everything Quinn had done before him as a defenseman. He threw in there in passing, I forget the exact context, but I believe the quote was, it would be really cool for all 3 of us to play on the same team one day. And for you to throw that out, I don't think he would do it. I think it was what they call like a Freudian slip, because I don't think he would say that if this wasn't already discussed at length between all the brothers, whether it's at a dinner table with their parents or on their little boats or whatever other little summer toys they have. But now, more so than ever, I do believe that Quinn Hughes will be a New Jersey Devil. I'll go on record as saying it now. I wasn't sure when Luke said that. He's not saying that unless there's something behind it. And let me see. When is Quinn a? And I'm sure the Canucks are probably going to know about this, so they'll probably try to force something out of him in trade. If I had to guess. I guess unless in the last year of his deal, if they're trying to make a deep playoff run. and we're willing to lose him for nothing. But Quinn Hughes is going to be a New Jersey Devil, guys. It's at this point, I'm going to say it's a near certainty. So he's signed up through, wow. So he has 2 seasons after this. So this is 24-25. He's signed up through 25-26 and 26-27. So July of 27 would be when he's unrestricted. You heard it here first, guys. Quinn Hughes is going to be a New Jersey Devil. It's just a matter of how and when, but it's going to happen. Go Boro. Oops, my bad. I got flu brain, but beat Miller up anyway, though. Who do you want on the line brawl? Yeah, Dylan, McDermott, Nason, and then the other 2 would be Cotter and Kovacevic. That would be my 5. Queens, New York guy. Marino should have held his own. Miller ain't nothing to be worried about. So glad Marino is no longer here. He was too soft. He was definitely soft. But they didn't really want him to be part. I don't think they realized what was happening. Otherwise, I think Brendan Smith would have been out there instead of Marino for sure. Kovacevic took what was offered and obliged. Krungs, I think I hurt SST's feelings because he blocked me. Jay Snow, in the Carolina series, Kreider had the Hattie. Gentleman, Kreider, you hate him when he's not on your team. The dude is a redirection machine. Yeah, he's definitely a great net front guy. How old is he? I don't want any Rangers, but he's got to be getting up there. John Woodson could beat up Marino. That's all Kreider does, though. He has 0 assists. Net crash Kreider is way too gimmicky. Just saw it. The Comets have a 4-game heater. Wow. Love to see it after starting, 0-11? Tom A., average goalie quality start percentage is like 60%. If you win those games, you'll be a 500 hockey team. If you find ways to win in the other 40% of non-quality starts, you make the playoffs. Okay. I think he's talking about Team USA, 4 Nations, or Olympics. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but I am super jacked for the 4 Nations. Very excited for that. Derek H., the cap is going up. He will get $8 million plus per year over 8 years, I'm guessing, and he'll be worth every penny. You think he's going to get over $8 million? Oh, my God. That's crazy. James Valenti, Luke was giving Rachel a hint. We will all take a little less if we can stay in NJ, especially if we can get Quinn. Well, based on that little snippet, I certainly think that that it's going to happen at some point. Traveling Devil Salayev will be a Canuck. I hope not. I hope we could get him without giving up Salayev. 3 Hughes in a cup. I'll absolutely shart my pants. Jerome, Quinn Hughes will never be a Devil. Ace, you're on crack. No, I don't think I am, my friend. I don't think that it is. I'm pretty at this point. I'm going to say it's almost a foregone conclusion. That Quinn Hughes will be a Devil at some point, and maybe it could come down to it could be free agency. You know, they could. I expect them to be a decent team. Who knows in a few years from now, but I imagine they'll still be fairly decent, and maybe they'll go on their last playoff run with him and be willing to lose him for nothing at that point. But I do believe that Quinn Hughes will be a Devil. I don't want to spend big money on another defender. Well, if Dougie Hamilton's not here, to think of it that way, by that point, Dougie won't be here. Who gets 43 then? That'd be interesting. Unless Quinn's taking less money. Well, I don't know. What's less money to you? I'm curious. Jerome, who are the Devils giving up to get Quinn Hughes? Ace, you're taking an off-the-cuff quote completely out of context. No. I'm not taking it out of context. That quote told me everything. And maybe we wait to get him in free agency where we don't have to give up anyone to get him. Or maybe the Canucks know that he's going to leave in free agency and will try to extort us for something for him. But the reality is, if they are, if they are a playoff contender, they may just say, we're going to go on our last run with Quinn Hughes, knowing that he's going to leave in free agency versus cashing him in for whatever they can at the deadline. When he is when he would be sort of a rental to most teams, or at least an unknown at that point. Go Boro. Dylan McDermott, Nason, Cotter, Kovacevic. Wow. Dylan McDermott, Nason, Cotter, Kovacevic. That is the heavier, edgier, more violent line, and that is the Devils' perhaps heaviest, edgiest, most violent combination of starting five. And if I was Sheldon Keefe, I would send those five out to start the game just to see, because I would love it. Go Boro. I'm going to make that line on my NJD franchise mode now. Love it. Our D is perfect, no Quinn. We're not talking about tomorrow, B. We're talking about in 2 to 3 years from now. There's so many uncertainties in this defense as far as that goes. Salayev, Casey, Nemetz, Gritsuk all make Quinn irrelevant. Listen, guys, I'm not saying that we need Quinn. I'm telling you that after I heard that quote, Quinn Hughes is coming here. I never heard someone kind of openly say it like that. Quinn Hughes will be a Devil. If we're toasting for Quinn, then we could really be looking for Nemetz in a deal for a top 6. Well, to me, it's not even related, to be honest. I mean, we just have so much defensive depth that, you know, I wouldn't want to give Nemetz away for just like a random trade. But if there's something special out there, I would include Nemetz if we had to. I think there's a lot of guys that are in the organization that are capable of being NHL defensemen. Obviously, Nemetz is one of them, but as is Casey, Topias Villain. There's a couple other guys, you know, kind of in the wings. Obviously, further out would be Salayev. We have Missoul. Yeah, and there's just we have a lot of defensive depth. In St. Pollock, so basically it could be like the opposite of when Scott Needs went to go play with Rob in Anaheim. Exactly. We would be the beneficiary, or if you consider it a positive, which I think most people would, we would be the beneficiary of luring a player from somewhere else because we already have their sibling. And I think you're going to see it happen. Quinn and the Canucks just lose so much to let him go. He'd lose his captaincy. I don't think he's going to care. I think it's happening. Oh, I'd love to see him a Devil, though. That would be sick. I personally wouldn't care. Like, it doesn't make that much of a difference to me. Obviously, he's a great player. I personally don't like locking up that much money in defensemen as well, but it's going to happen. Let's get a red wave at the Garden Monday. Ace, how comfortable is that hoodie? I would say it's pretty comfortable. James Valenti, who would you prefer, Quinn or Brady? Are you really asking me that question, James? Brady, no doubt Brady, but I don't think it's going to happen. Jason, no, Brady, absolutely. Robert, I would knock over $7 million, 8 years for Luke. Not at this stage. If Quinn comes, where does Brady fit in? Jerome, Ace, I love you, bro, but I need the number of your dealer if you really believe this Quinn thing. Oh, it's happening. Jerome, I would bet money on it at this point. Before today, I would have said no. There's no way that doesn't just slip. That's not something you just say. And they've all had plenty of chances to say it. Tons of cameras in all their faces all the time. At Hughes Bowl 1, and then we just had Hughes Bowl 2 earlier this year, cameras and interviews with the same repetitive questions. And how cool is it growing up with 2 other players? And then asking their parents, how cool is it to have 3 of your kids make it to the NHL? The same bullshit over and over and over and over again. And, you know, Jack would just sit there looking like he'd rather be anywhere else on the planet than doing the interview. Luke seems like he's warming up a little bit. But in the end, I have never heard a quote from any of them referencing that. And Luke let that go in that little clip. Gentlemen, what did he say again? I missed it. I'm going to have to, I guess, clip it and put it up as a short maybe. I got to go through. I think, I don't know the verbatim quote. I believe he said something along the lines of, it would be very cool or hopefully we could all play on the same team one day. Something like that. And I remember, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, is that right? Very interesting. Amagi, that question they asked Nico about emotions regarding the season made me pause the video in bewilderment of how stupid of a question that was. James, once again, I'm at work and we win. I'm working tomorrow, so let's get another one. James, you need to work for every game if that's how this is playing out. Jason, I want to see Crosby get traded. This is sad watching him waste away in Pittsburgh. We've talked about this on a previous live, 100%. Obviously, as a hockey fan, I'd like to see Sid in the playoffs, and watching him on a sinking Pittsburgh ship is depressing. And if he does move away from Pittsburgh, I have to believe he would try to go to Colorado, and I think the Penguins would try to accommodate him. Krungs, I don't know, man. Of course he'd casually say he's loved to play with his brothers. No, Krungs. These guys have cameras in their face all the time, and no one has said it yet. Luke said it. Insane Polak, when was the last time a team had 3 talented brothers playing on one team? I don't know that that's ever happened. I think 2 of the 3 stalls may have been on Carolina at one point. Maybe 2 of the 3 stalls were on the Panthers at one point. I don't know if all 3 have ever been on a team. Max, Mason Gearston about to sign a contract for Monday, the 4th liner we've all been begging for. I know a guy that would be ecstatic if Gearston was signed. He was a Gearston super fan. Jay Snow, Crosby is still such a good player. Yeah, obviously. And not only does he produce, he's on the ice, he's a winner and a leader. Someone was talking about in the last post-game live about Sid to the Devils, and I said I can't see it happening, but I would absolutely freak out and go ballistic if the Devils ever had Sid. Obviously, that anytime you could have a legend of the game play for your team, it's just a special time. James Valenti, I wonder if Jack and Luke try to lure Quinn here with the amazing pizza we have. I don't think it's going to take the pizza. I think this is already well planned out. Ace, we can win Cubs without Quinn. Looks like he's going to be better than Quinn. Number one, I have to say, if you think Luke's going to be better than Quinn, I think that's a little wild. I don't know what we're basing that on other than just complete hopes and dreams. But I believe we could win Cups without Quinn, too. I'm just telling you, based on what he said in that thing, and maybe I'm crazy, but I don't think I am, because in all the interviews I've seen with all 3 of them and all throughout all the media appearances they did related to the NHL 25 cover, and there was millions of, they were on this show and that show, and behind the scenes, and the making of the game, and the making of the trailer, and this and that. And these guys got cameras in their face 24/7. I never once heard anything like what he had dropped in this little segment with Rachel. And I'm going to have to find it and put it up. But as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, shit, it's a wrap. A lot of people have kind of talked about it. And to me, that means it's happening. What was Luke going to say? FTC, blah, 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 Ace. I'm not dying on the hill, Jerome. I'm just telling you what I observed and my prediction. And it wasn't the question didn't, I don't remember exactly what it was, but it didn't elicit the response. It was like he volunteered this answer on his own. Maybe Quinn wants out of Vancouver. They're going to be playing together, 4 Nations face-off. I don't think Luke's going to be on that team. I don't see Luke being on the 4 Nations team. Maybe he has a chance to make the Olympic team for 2026 Olympics, but I don't think he's going to be on the 4 Nations team. John, the Plager brothers, Bill, Barkley, and Bob played together for the Blues way back in the 70s. Okay. The more you learn. Thank you, John, for that little clip of the day. Jerome, it's crazy that you think that this idea is so crazy for a third brother to join the other 2 in the NHL on a team, that you think it's so wild of a notion that Quinn is going to end up here. I don't know why you think it's that crazy. Again, I don't particularly care for this. I'm just giving you my prediction of what's going to happen. I just don't know why you find it so hard to believe. The Niedermeyer brothers. Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame we couldn't have gotten Rob before Scott wanted to go there. And then coincidentally, after Scott was retired, Rob Niedermeyer came to the Devils. And I'm like, well, what use do we have for him now? James Valenti, not going to lie, with the Hughes brothers being on the cover of NHL 25 and GTA 6 coming out, I'm really tempted to upgrade to a new Xbox. Last NHL game I owned was NHL 95 on Super Nintendo. Wow, it's been a while. Gentlemen, I'm curious how much Luke gets those. I've given my official prediction. I think it's believed I think it'll be between 7 and 8 million. Jerome, don't ever change. Jerome, answer my question. You think it's that crazy of an idea that we get Quinn Hughes when 2 of his brothers are here? You think it's that wild? I'm so curious as to why. Jay Snow. Quinn Hughes is a top 10 player in the league. Brady is top 30, 40 at best. I definitely would prefer Brady over Quinn, for sure, for me personally. But I would say that overall, if you had like a if you asked, I guess it depends on the team. You know, some teams, if you said you could have either one of these guys, certain teams would pick Quinn, certain teams would pick Brady. Depends on the. It would depend on the team's needs. I just think that Quinn has a large price to pay if he wants to make the switch. He's the face of the Canucks right now. Ace, you skipped my comment. If you're talking about the earlier ones, aside from the pizza, Jay Snow, I'm trying to keep it somewhat family friendly, Jay Snow. Queens, New York, I think we should all at least give it some thought. It definitely would make hockey more popular for people worldwide to see three super skilled brothers play on the same team. I mean, it'd be a marketing. It's already the brothers are already a marketing dream for the league, but getting three on one team obviously brings it to a different level. Jerome's high. Okay, I do think it's nuts. See, there's this thing called the salary cap. Jerome, I fully understand how the salary cap works. Hey, I mean, crazy stuff has happened in NHL. Who'd have thought a waiver guy from Florida from 3 or 4 years ago would be one of our best D-men right now? James Valenti, it's not crazy, especially with the cap going up. D'Angelo was the one who was a good drug dealer. That's what I'm starting to think. Max, one of the off-the-radar guys I want to replace Palat if we ever do move on would be Lawson Krause. Dude is an animal and has some serious skill. Okay. Luke is getting 4 max. I just can't see it, SST. You keep saying that. I can't see it. I just can't see it being true. I can't see it being true at all, or even close to it. I think that's a delusional. If somehow Fitz signed him for $4 million, then you should call Fitz the GM of the century if he gets him to sign that deal. Jerome, besides, what would Fitz have to give to get that deal done? I just said to you 5 times, Jerome, he might not have to give anything. If Quinn gets the free agency, then you give up nothing. You sign him for money. That's it. No assets lost. Gentlemen, what about Kovacevic? Could we keep him for 3.5? I'm not going to say no, and then you wrote 4. I personally think that assuming his year goes injury-free and he continues to play at a level he is now, I believe multiple teams offer Kovacevic $4 million or so times 4 or 5 years. I fully believe that. And maybe he takes a slightly less deal to play for the Devils, but I guess it also depends on how the playoffs go and so many other things, but it seems like he likes it here. I think he believes in what the group's doing. He seems like he fits in with the guys, but I do think that, you know, this is his one time to get paid for his career. He's made league minimum all the years he's played in the league, never made a ton of money. This is his one big payday, and he might just take every cent out there. And I wouldn't be mad at him for it. I totally get it. I mean, he's put in his time. He's been in the league for whatever years now, league minimum deals, and, you know, is going to have a career year this season, and he's going to get paid accordingly. A big, nasty, young, right-handed shutdown D-man, he could easily get, I believe a contract he's going to get is going to be $20 million plus total money. So maybe, you know, 4 by 5 years, 4.5 by 5. Who knows? Depending on how many teams are in need, there could be a bidding war for him. I would love to see him stay, but I don't know how that's all gonna play out. We're gonna find out. I hope we keep him, and I'd rather keep him than one of the young studs. I really would. Queens, New York guy, Ace. I'm taking a perennial Selke nominated D-man than Brady. I'm not on our team. We just have too much defense. You know, if you look at the team, I don't think anyone's saying a defenseman is like our glaring need at the moment. Now, obviously, when this comes up, the thing with Quinn is a couple years away at a minimum. So the team could look entirely differently then. But in terms of as of today, Brady Tkachuk would help today's Devils way more than Quinn Hughes would, in my opinion. I'm just kidding, Ace. I know you like to keep it PG. John, I think Eric Jordan and Jared Sutter all played, you mean Stahl. I think Stahl for the Hurricanes in 2016. Is there anyone on Pittsburgh we can trade for? There's a couple guys. $7-8 million for 15-20 points is nuts. I think it kind of is too. I think it kind of is too, but that's what he's going to get paid, man. He's going to get that money. Where's James C? Ace, you're the best Devils commentator out there. Keep it up, dude. Thank you very much, James C. Appreciate you, sir. Krung's Luke would get at least 6 on the open market. I think he would get more. I really do. James, do you think getting Crosby at the deadline is realistic? No, I do not. However, don't kill me because there's a lot of snippy moes out here but they run their mouth. I'll entertain the nonsense. If you guys throw out the nonsense, I'll entertain it and I'll fantasize with you because I enjoy these exercises. I don't think Crosby moves on from the Penguins this year. Maybe next year. I don't know. That's going to be up to Sid. I'm sure Pittsburgh's management Sid has been the most loyal of soldiers. And I think they'll do whatever they can to accommodate him. With that being said, I don't think he would want to go to the Devils. And so if he was leaving Pittsburgh, I do think he's going to go to Colorado. Now, would I love to see him on the Devils? Absolutely, but I wouldn't want to give up a ton for him. I mean, let's be real. You're going to go on a couple playoff runs with him. I just can't see it. I just think it's a very wild pipe dream. Anything about Crosby, I would love to see it at the right price, but I just don't see it. I don't think Sid's going to want to come here. And so for me, it is just one of these kind of nonsense things to talk about, but I'm more than happy to talk about it. I would love to see it. I just can't see it happening. Jerome, Ace, I love your podcast. If I'm wrong about this, I'll grovel accordingly. But this is video game GM. How? But Jerome, how? I would say it's video game GMing if I was like, we're going to go get Connor McDavid and Cale Makar. Like, that's video game GMing. If you have 2 of the 3 brothers in the league, if you already have 2 of them, and it would make sense that all 3 of them would like to play on the same team, that's just kind of common sense. And then Luke says it in an interview, I can't understand why you would think it's so crazy to happen. B, shout out Fitz. What an offseason. What an offseason is right. Thefted Kovacevic for a 4th rounder. That might be steal of the summer. Dylan's been great. Nason has been an absolute steal for the money he was signed for. Love Cotter, an absolute hitting machine. And yeah, Fitz really killed it this summer, in my opinion. I guess, the Tatar signing was a little bit of a reach. And hopefully Markstrom improves a little bit. But by and large, the new acquisitions have been killing it. Queens, New York guy, no player on the cover of a video game is only getting $4 million. NHL knows Luke is on his way to superstardom and all-star status. Ace, their own parents said Luke was the best skilled out of all them brothers, and Luke is 6'2" and getting more physical. I mean, listen, the parents could say it all they want, but you got to show me. I think he has great potential, but it's just hard for me when people draw comparisons to, like, established all-star players, and they're like, this guy is going to be better than that guy. I believe years ago, they said that Adam Larson's, like, coach from whatever the hell he was playing in when he was young, before he was drafted, that he coached Larson and Nick Lidstrom. And he said at that age that Adam Larson was better than Nicholas Lidstrom. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, my God. When I heard that, I was like, I've heard enough. We're talking about being better than Nicholas Lidstrom when he was a kid. I mean, come on, man. It's hard for me to buy into these, comparisons that people make. Selected Boy, what's up, Devils folks? Nace, what's going on? And St. Paul, if Luke takes $4 million year deal, it's because he knows Quinn is coming in a few years. I mean, wow. Ace didn't even catch that joke. He said when he wrote Sutter, meaning all 5 of the Sutter brothers. No, I must have missed it. Jay Snow, we're never getting Crosby nowadays. Oh, I said we're not getting him, but I'll fantasize about it. I would love to get him at some normal price, but it's never going to happen. Don't indulge. Pitt do badly need the firsts. Pitt does not want to hand us a cup. Imagine going on a playoff run with Sid. Oh, my God. Sid in the red and black. That would just be, wow, what a thing to see. Jay Snow, Swayman looks like he's in playoff mode tonight. Jerome, can we get back to talking about the win tonight? Your New Jersey Devils survived a 2-goal deficit and some scary moments, beating the Detroit Red Wings in Detroit by a score of 5-4. And yeah, I'm hoping Fitzy gets us some depth players soon, though. I really am, because it is going to take a toll on our guys if we're consistently playing without a legitimate fourth line. And so hopefully we have some troops on the way. And if Allen has a solid game tomorrow at home against the Caps, I'm throwing him out there in the Garden on Monday. I am throwing him out there in the Garden on Monday. I think a lot of people listen. I'm rooting for Markstrom, but I also live in a world where I do believe in meritocracy, which is whoever's got this is based on merit. And right now, Allen is playing better. Granted, a smaller sample size, but with that being said, Markstrom looks shaky enough for me today that I would say Allen plays tomorrow and he plays well. I will send Allen out there on Monday in the Garden against the Rangers, no questions. I definitely would. Go Boro, would you finally say Fitz redeemed after the whole Toffoli thing? Are you talking about how Toffoli, what trading Sharon Goetsch for Toffoli and then cashing in Toffoli for nothing? Is that what you mean? I can't kill Fitz for that because hindsight's a beautiful thing and people love to use hindsight. When we traded for Toffoli, that's a win now move. And I've told you guys time and time again, I am a win now guy. With the guys we have now, I was looking to win now from 2 years ago. So when we traded Sharon Goetsch for Toffoli, I applauded it. And obviously, it didn't work out. I don't think anyone saw all the injuries that happened last year coming with league worst goaltending and all the things that happened. And it sucked. It was a cursed season. McLeod getting banished for a court case. I mean, it was absolutely banana shit. You can't make this stuff up. Last year was fully cursed for a variety of reasons. It seemed like Fitzy and the owners wiped their hands. They chalked it up and they said, we're going to tank for a draft pick and call it a day. That's what they did, and now we head into last offseason, and he went shopping. And so for me, it doesn't necessarily go 1-1, like, oh, you did this, so your hands are washed of that. But, I think Fitzy had quite an offseason. He robbed Kovacevic. He made the ballsy trade for Cotter, which a lot of people thought he was giving up great value. I was one of them when it first happened. And that turned out to be, he saw the writing on the wall that Cotter could provide more than what maybe he was given the opportunity to give in Vegas. Dylan and Pesci, great signings. And Nason's been one of the greatest stories in the league. By 2030, the Devils will be a sibling team, all Hughes and both Kachuk brothers. Queens, New York guy, Ace, all three of them on here would instantly put us in the Eastern Conference Finals every season. Imagine Jack, Luke, and Quinn on the same line in power play. I mean, it would be a lot of talent, but sometimes you need more than just talent, and that's where you got to find those guys like Nason and Cotter. And I really believe we need one or two more character, gritty guys like that. Adam, Markey has got to be less mid. 3 games, 3 first goal shots. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Pretty terrible. Can't continue. Gentlemen, Pesci is perfect for Luke to develop into an all-star. I agree with that. Jerome Nico with a huge goal tonight. Show some respect. The captain dragging this team. Comparing players to legends or saying a player is a new XXS is a form of voodoo magic. It's a curse with a big hit rate. Yeah, that's why it's hard for me. Even when people say, oh, Luke's going to be better than Quinn. I'm like, Quinn is so good that, like, I don't need Luke to be better than him. If Luke is anywhere near as good as him, I will be ecstatic. Quinn is probably one of the best defensemen in the league in the past 15 years. And so, to say, oh, Luke's going to be better than him, I just think you're setting people up to fail and you're giving false hopes or whatever to other people that read this kind of stuff. Like, the odds of that, I think, are very low. I would love to be wrong. I just don't know how you could say with a straight face, when you look at Quinn Hughes, what he's done the past few years, and be like, yeah, Luke's definitely going to be better than him. That's asking a lot of anybody. Queens, New York, Ace. I remember that about Larson. I believe it's because Lidstrom was soft at the beginning of his career. We tore him up in 95 to sweep the Wings for our first cup. Jerome, thank you, Ace. Happy Black Friday. Jay Snow, Ace, will they please call him Hallinan? I've been calling for Hallinan for weeks, my guy. I've been very pro Hallinan for a long time, including I think even back to the preseason. Go Boro. If I was Pitt, I'd be feeling a bit tickly for Casey. The thing is this in reference? Are you still talking about the Crosby thing? I don't want to go too much off the walls here, but Crosby, there's so much more than just like the paper transaction, right? I mean, I believe. I'm trying to think about this. What would teams really? I mean, I just feel like a lot of teams would overpay for Sid if they could, just because what he brings. I do think if Pittsburgh was ever like, we're opening up shop on Sid, I think a shitload of teams inquire and try to see what it would take to get him. But I think with a guy like Sid, because he's meant so much to the franchise and the city, I think it's more than just, they're going to treat it more than just a player that they're going to cash in for these things. And I honestly, I was thinking about this the past couple of days. I wouldn't be surprised if he did stick it out there to the bitter end. I mean, wow, it would be unfortunate if he never played another playoff game. And I feel like that is a very possible reality at the moment. There is a chance that if he decides to stay in Pittsburgh, that Sidney Crosby has played in his very last NHL playoff game. And I just, Sid does seem like a competitor. I think that's a tough pill for him to swallow as well. But I don't know. It is an interesting one. But we definitely, in the event that they were shopping him, we definitely have the pieces to be able to offer them something. But I just can't see it happening. Jay Snow, send Markey a message. He's a competitor. The Insane Pollock, Jerome, even if Vancouver lets Quinton get to free agency, the prospects of him coming here become more of a possibility. We shall see. He's definitely coming here. Ace, Keefe is definitely putting Markey against Shesterkin, bro. Come on. I mean, why though? But why does Markey have to go against Shesterkin? If you look at the body of work, were you impressed by Markstrom today? I wasn't. And if you look at his numbers on the year compared to Allen's, listen, I love Markstrom. I like Markstrom. I wanted us to get him going back to last year, but I'm going to call it like it is. I'm going to keep it 100 on this channel. And I don't think it's crazy if Allen plays good tomorrow to throw him in at the Garden on Monday. Something I wonder about with Sharon Govich, I guess a lot of people say they have regret about the whole thing with him, but would things really be that different if he had stayed? If you're talking about Sharon Govich, who knows? You can't know because he had that breakout year in Calgary. Then he got paid. What would his stats have been if he was here? What kind of pay would he have gotten then? And, it's one of those things where it's hard to play revisionist history. John, in a recent interview, Fitz is very candid about his dislike of the Rags. You usually don't hear admin talk like that. Where was that on, John? I'd be curious to hear it. Jerome, bunch of star effers on this chat. Sorry, I'll focus on the players actually here. SST, imagine Devils won first Detroit game and the Sharks won where we dominated like crazy. Devils would have been a couple points out of the overall NHL lead. Wolf rocking, what's going on, man? What's up, Ace? Better late than never. Absolutely. Jay Snow, Ace, I hate that the Foley trade because I never thought he'd be a good guy to sign long term. I didn't mind trading for an established player. Just didn't see the end game there. The end game there was, he was a finisher and he could score, and he played great with Jack. And I think he was leading the team in goals when we traded him at the deadline. I don't think there was a long-term move. I think that was a win now move. And I think Fitzy was hoping to go on a playoff run with him, see what happened, and kind of reassess from there. Jay Snow, Quinn was the best D-man in the league last year, probably second best behind McCarr right now. Let's calm down with Luke being better. Yeah, that's kind of my look on it. I mean, it's kind of wild. Amagi, what's stopping them from bringing up Hallinan seriously? Doesn't he have a track record of doing, at the very least, decent when brought up previously? That's what I would think. I don't know what there's so much politics and nonsense probably behind the scenes. I have no idea. But at this point, Dowling was called up. Foote had a chance. Bowers. I think they got to give Hallinan a crack. Wait, Ace, so you expect Luke to make $7 to $8 million a year, but you don't expect him to be almost as good as Luke? No. Those two things, honestly, in my opinion, have nothing to do with each other. What he's going to get paid and my expectations for him versus Quinn, there's no correlation in my book whatsoever. I think he's going to get better than he is now. But I think if you guys are expecting him to be better than Quinn, I think is delusional personally. I think that's just, really a lot to expect because they have the same last name. Wolf Rockin', what a win, my friend. Great bounce back game. Heavier, edgier, more violent. I absolutely love this team, bro. Can't wait for the Rags Ace. We often take over the Garden, brother. Oh, it's going to be a great one. Couple days away. Jay Snow, I don't know. Is Hallen on a two-way contract or do we have to clear waivers? Yeah, that's all the bullshit. I'm not good. I don't know. I have to look all that stuff up. Off the top of my head, I don't know if Hallinan is on. Let's see if we can see what he's on. He signed a 2-year deal this summer for $775. Yeah, it's a two-way deal. So I don't know I'd have to look into all the the ins and outs with the getting sent up and down and waivers and all that. Adam, what do you think about bringing in Taravainen for depth? I mean, listen, there's so many options out there, and I think there's going to be a lot of sellers. And so, what's Taravainen doing this year? I mean, yeah, wow, it's not terrible. 11 points in 23 games. I would, though, prefer to bring in the heavier, edgier, more violent guys, if possible, because while we've made strides in that department, we still have a lot of soft guys, and I want as many of the tougher guys as possible, or at least big. And I think maybe Fitz is just trying to see who else is going to fall out of kind of the playoff picture to see what other teams he might be able to try to raid. Paul Pass, team is playing great. Why are we doom and gloom? Yeah, we need a second line, left wing, and a fourth line. Trust the process. Not one team would want to play. Is that NJ if playoffs started tonight? I don't think a lot of teams would want to play us. Better coaching helped Sharon Govich in Calgary. They called up Foot twice now, no, and he was invisible. Give Hallonen a shot. I want to see Hallonen for sure. Paul Pass, team is going 3-1 every 4 games. It seems that way. And again, when the Doomers come out, I say just look at the past little stretch of games. If we could go 3-1-ish every 4 games, that is quite the beautiful points percentage. Getting 6 out of every 8. Yeah, what is that? That's 3/4. Yeah, that's 750 hockey. That puts you at the pace the Carolina Hurricanes are playing at right now. Man, I wish we were 20, 30 years in the future. We could have a VR line brawl in the chat along with the NYR game. Oh, man, that's pretty funny. How do you think hockey in the far future will be like? Glow puck come back. Oh, boy. I'm done with the glow puck. That was crazy on Fox. Go Burrow. I heard the Chicago fans aren't terribly in love with Taravainen, and I just feel like we could do better. David Perron, vet, defends his teammates, shoots right, can play both wings, won a cup. Don't know his contract offhand. Jason, no, NHL Wraparound Podcast, episode 36, is not letting me copy the link directly. Hold up. Let me jot this down in my other tab here. I had this open on a window and it crashed, and then I forgot to circle back to it. I did see this and didn't get to listen to it. Wolf Rocket, I'm going crazy, Ace. I can't find Dirty Devil vodka down the shore here. I had to order it from a Spirits. Looking forward to trying it, my friend. Thanks, Ace. I thought they have it. I thought they had it near you. Let me see something here. Tomorrow's going to be an epic game. It definitely is. Hopefully we could find a way to beat the Caps again. SST, where do they find $8 million for Luke? Trade Palat. Luke is getting $4 million and not a Kopech more. Dude, you're bugging. There's no chance Luke Hughes is signing for $4 million. No chance. To anyone seeing this nonsense from SST, I wish that was reality. It is so delusional that Luke's agent would laugh in the face of a GM presenting a $4 million offer. And in terms of where they're going to find the money, let's just see. After the season, Jake Allen is gone. Tomas Tatar is gone. Nate Bastian is gone. Curtis Lazar's money falls off if we don't re-sign him. And then we have a ton of RFAs. Nick DeSimone probably gone. Dowling probably gone. Max Willman. Samuel LeBerge. And then depending on what happens with Kovacevic, there's plenty of guys coming off the books to pay him that. Derek H. Tomorrow's going to be an epic game. Caps have won 3 straight since we beat them Saturday. Huge, huge matchup. Huge. I might have to go to that one. I do like watching at home, though. I'm not going to lie. I'm a homebody, guys. I do love going to games. I also love watching them at home. I like both. There's pros and cons of both. They asked Fitz about being bigger like Vegas and Florida. He said speed and skill will win out over that every time. Speed and skill win over that every time. Well, interesting. I need the full context. Paul Pass, if we are serious, hope Anders are out and we can make a move for Brock Nelson. Him with Hughes would do wonders for our team in terms of depth. Alex might be able to bridge him 6 million times 3 or something like that. That could be interesting. My bad. I was trying to get you the direct link. Ace, no problem. That was good enough. I was able to pull it up. Alex, then you're paying Quinn and Luke big paydays in the same offseason. If Luke signs for $4 million and SST is right, Ace shotguns a drink of choice on stream. Okay, fine. And then what do I get when I'm right? Luke is not signing for $4 million, guys. This is just beyond delusional nonsense talk from SST. But I will make that wager. Paul Pass, but I think we end up with Zaka or Coyle at the end of the day if Boston falls out. Fitz keep watching the Bruins in person. Silly, stupid takes at it again. What was that in reference to? I'm not sure. SST, and they need to replace those guys with better players, and for that they need money. Luke is not getting more than 4. Oh boy, this shit! I just can't believe that you believe that. I think it's wild. I would probably be stunned if he signed for who steps in as a goalie next year, Ace? Dawes or maybe Malik? That one's tough. It could be Poulter. It could be Brendan. It could be, there's so many guys. I guess by default, you'd have to say because they're in Utica right now, Dawes and Poulter would be the most likely guys. And then probably followed by maybe Malik or Brennan. But if I had to just pick one, I'd probably just guess Dawes because he was already here. But there's definitely a couple guys that'll have a crack at it. Jack McCabe, not to mention the cap will be increasing. Amagi, if Luke wasn't a Hughes, how much would he deserve? That's a very different game, Amagi. But the reality is he is a Hughes, and that is going to help his bargaining power and his contract. Luke is getting a minimum of 6. I think in my head, Ryan, that's kind of where I'm at. Like 6, I'd be happy with 6 with the cap going up, and blah blah blah. Like the 6 could be a good deal, and I think I'd be shocked. I think if he took the 6, to be honest, I do think he's getting more. Jay Snow, I like going to games when it starts to get nicer out. If I'm right, Ace drinks a bottle of his favorite liquor and one go live. I would do that. That's not going to happen. What do I get when I'm right, though? Ace, on the other hand, majority of players get contracts based on what they've done, and Luke hasn't played like a $7 to $8 million player. I'd argue not even a $4 million player. Oh, Queens, New York guy. Don't buy into his hype, bro. People get contracts based on what you hope they're going to do. That is the new contracts now are signed on hopes, dreams, and potential, right? Jack Hughes didn't do shit to be worth $8 million a year when we signed him. I think he was coming off maybe a 40 or 50 point season at most. And Fitzy was like, sign him up 8x8. And it turned out to be an incredible signing. He's one of the better value contracts in the league. But the reality is I shit my pants when they announced that. I'll never forget it. I texted my boy Steve the Maniac. The day that was announced, I said, whoa, I hope Fitz is right on this one. Because at the moment, there was nothing suggesting Jack Hughes was an $8 million player, just like they're going to bet on the potential / what they've already seen, obviously, in the body of work, from last season, whatever. With Luke Hughes, you're paying on potential and basically draft status and a bunch of other nonsense. Guys are now getting paid way earlier than guys ever did in the past. And so in the past, I agree, guys were getting paid on what they'd done previously. The new school, new wave players, the kids of the league now are getting paid on what does the GM believe you can do. And that's a great position to be in as these young players. Amagi, how much do you think he should get without the last name? Probably, Probably about that $4 million that SST is delusionally saying he's going to get. Paul Pass, Luke signed $7 million times 3. Him and Jack UFA same summer as Quinn. I've been meaning to look at the math. Is that what it is? They would all line up the same summer. I mean, wow. Talk about if they set that up, that would be wild. You're crazy. Luke's getting 6.5 to 8 sheets. If you're right, I'll dono you 25 unless SST wants to. Luke is definitely getting 8 by 8, 8.5. Sorry, fan. It's all projections these days, for sure. They are paying on hopes and dreams. You're completely right. It's all about potential with your big name prospects nowadays. Yep. Couldn't agree more. Could lose both same summer. Fam, there's also a chance Allen signs a 1-year deal. There is, for sure. I agree. Let's not rule Allen getting re-signed. I agree with that, especially if he's playing this well. A team lacking a true power play 1 quarterback could absolutely offer sheet Luke. He's worth a first for sure. Leafs steal the Hughes for $14 million apiece. Jay Snow, all players are getting paid now for future predictions. This is the new NHL. Just watch. Luke's going to sign before the season ends for $4 million. Luke is getting $6 million minimum. Kovacevic will fetch $4 million. I agree with you here as well, Adam. SST also thinks that Kovacevic is going to get some pittance. Where I don't agree either. I think there's going to be tons of people lined up to give Kovacevic money. Steve the Maniac is going nuts after today's win. Well, we can't get mad when we say and feel we're overpaying players then. I'm not, because I understand how the game works now. I mean, that's what's going on. So it's not like no one else would have paid him that money, because someone would. It's like, if you don't, someone else will. Bullet Dodge not signing those Nashville guys. I mean, I think that's hard to say. I can see the argument as it stands now, but, you don't know how either one of them would have responded on this Devils team. And so I can't say that it was a bullet dodged. 2.5 for Kovacevic is a fat contract. No, there's no chance. No chance. My man, Go Boro. Is this NYE? He. What is this about, Go Boro? But thank you very much. Appreciate the super chat. I don't know exactly what this comment is in reference to. If you could clarify. I'll come back to that in a minute. Jake Allen better than Markstrom. Well, the stats would definitely say that as of right now. And like I said, I'm a merit guy. If Allen has a good game tomorrow, I'm starting him against the Rangers. Jack McCabe, is there a chance that Kova is not re-signed and he's just a stopgap for Nemitz? Nemitz still on his rookie deal next year, could work out better cap-wise if that's the direction they go. It could be, right? But Kovacevic is a shutdown guy, heavier, edgier, more violent. He's shown today he will drop the gloves. He hits. He makes the smart play. He's a big dude, has a little experience under his belt. Personally, for me, he's only 27. I would rather sign him and rock with him in our defense than Nemitz. Like, I do think his emergence has made Nemitz tradable, in my opinion, because Nemitz is going to be a restricted free agent after next season. And he would get paid a good amount, probably what we would have to pay Kovacevic or more. So I am of the belief that if you're looking at this, if it's up to me, and I know some people are with me, some will say I'm crazy. If it came down to it, even at that $4 million, I would sign Kovacevic and cash in Nemitz if it was up to me. Imagine if the NHLPA was as dumb as the NFLPA and allowed teams to buy out contracts. Are you crazy? 2.5? Well, what do you mean by that? Because they can buy guys out. If the Devils go far in the playoffs this year, Kovacevic and Luke need to make team-friendly deals to keep everyone together, keep the window open. We'll see. We will see. I agree with you here. Kovacevic is getting more than 2.5. Ryan Covey would laugh at 2.5. I agree with all of you. Yeah, all the Hughes can potentially be UFA in the same summer, but I think the Hughes boys love the East Coast partying in Hoboken. Jay Snow, Kovacevic is getting more than 2.5. We already hit that. Go Boro. Here we go. If Luke signs for 7, I'll send the extra $12.50. But if SST is right, that's if you want to. Otherwise, it's for future victory drinks. Well, go Boro, you lose 1250. So what do you want me to do here? I have to drink a bottle if Luke signs for no. He said Luke's going to sign for 4. He said Luke's signing for 4. I'm taking the over on 4. I love Nemitz, but we have enough offensive talent on defense. Kovacevic's ability to lock things down and clear the zone from anywhere can't be replaced. Ding, ding, ding. I'm with you, Adam. If it comes down to it, I'm sorry. I think Nemitz is going to be a great player. However, I am in win now mode. Kovacevic to me is a win now defenseman. And like you point out, shut down D guys, don't grow on trees. We have plenty of defensemen that want to be forwards and score points. And I'm rocking with Kovacevic over Nemitz for sure. If Kovacevic keeps this up all season into the playoffs, Fitz will do everything he can to keep him around. Top 4 right-handed D with size and mobility who can play shutdown minutes while don't grow on trees. Exactly. And that is why teams are going to line up and be blowing up his. Yes. Is this Jonathan Kovacevic's agent? Yes. This is 14 to 17 teams from the NHL. Yes. We would love your client, Johnny Kovacevic, to come join our blue line. We're at 4.5 million times 5. Fuck it. He's a swell guy. Make it 6. All right. 4.8 times 6. All right. We'll send the papers over. People are going to be lining up for Johnny Kovacevic. And, I hope he stays, but it's going to be stiff competition. Nemitz is sick, guys. Drop the mitts with Marchand. He's a steady D-man. You trade him for a Brady T-type player, but if not, you keep him. Let your prospects play out. I'm just saying, if it comes down to for the Devils that they somehow boil it down to, I would love to keep Nemitz. I've said that a bunch of times. I think he's going to be great. But if it somehow they boil it down to we need to decide to keep Kovacevic or Nemitz and that we don't have any sort of long-term spot for both of them and it's one or the other, I'm personally going to pick Kovacevic. But, maybe there is a world where there's room for both of them. I just don't know. That would probably depend on someone else moving on as well. B, it's just tough because if we trade Nemitz, you want a big-name player who probably has a big contract, and that only happens with Palat cap dump. Yeah, that Palat contract is a freaking anchor, man. Kyle Maher, package Nemitz for Brady. I think that's definitely a player I would try to get if we were going to dangle Nemitz. If Kova is resigned, the right-hand D depth will be full. With him, Dougie, and Pesci, have to wonder what that would mean for Nemitz, though, especially if the hypothetical Kova deal is longer term. Exactly. So they might be, slotting their little pairings together, and they might just say that makes him expendable. He doesn't truly fit our window, and let's cash him in. These are all things that we are going to see, as time goes on here. Why does this have to do this right now? I think my mouse just died. Bear with me one moment. I feel like I just changed the battery of this shit. How often do these things die? Yeah. It's a double A. Bear with me 1 minute. Go Bora. If Luke signs for 4 or SST predictions right, then you shotgun a beer on stream. If you're right, then you get the extra $12.50. Oh, shotgunning a beer on stream ain't shit. I mean, that's. I thought you were gonna say like funnel a bottle. That's a little different. Shotgunning a beer. I just have to kind of foolproof the. I'd have to plastic wrap the situation. Thanks. Let's see what we got. Yeah, this Kovacevic thing, I'm surprised there's as many people that love him. I mean, I guess credit to you guys for some of you for knowing what you're looking at. I mean, Kovacevic, people were, a lot of people were super high on Nemitz, but I think now that they've seen Kovacevic and what he's been able to do, a lot more people than I realized have been this one's junk. Kind of on the train of trying to keep him at all costs. But it's interesting. If Kovacevic plays like Zadorov in last playoffs, he gets 4.5. Otherwise, it's 2.5. Nah. One team I could see finger licking for Kovacevic, Colorado. I mean, during the season, Ace and dropping players, just like what happened to the Giants QB who signed. Oh, you're just like, oh, yeah. Just get rid of them entirely and just wash your hands of it and just pay money. Also, Ottawa. Luke signs 3 years, then go to Detroit. The Michigan ties. I don't think anyone wants to play. Michigan as a city is not. Even if you're from Michigan, Detroit is definitely can't be a desirable location. In my opinion, the biggest roadblock Nemitz has on this team is Dougie Hamilton. He's projected to be a top pairing defenseman, and we need that spot to open up for us. I don't think Dougie is going to be here till the very end of his contract. Maybe till the final year. Who knows? I mean, listen, I know a lot of people are down on Dougie, but the reality is Dougie creates a shitload of offense. And you saw how our team went when he went down last year. I think if we moved on from him, people would miss him pretty quickly. If you move Nemitz, you could use that as the incentive to dump Palat instead of draft capital. Interesting. We talked about what can you package with Palat to move on from that contract. Paul Pass, Ace, when are we doing a viewing party? I know I got to figure this out, but I talked about this in the stream, and I said, if this is something you're interested in, email me. There's a shitload of people in the live or the stream at the time, and like 3 or 4 people emailed me. So I don't know if this is really something that people really want or it's a cutesy idea. Maybe I'll put a poll on something soon. I don't know. I'll figure it out. Kyle, what's with Palmieri being dangled? Possible reunion, I read. I wouldn't hate it, but I'd like to do. I would look for better personally. Nemitz is from the old way of thinking Devils. Kovacevic is a new way of thinking Devils. Nemitz will be great trade bait. I agree with you there, Traveling Devil. I think not every guy needs to be a fancy skater or offensive defenseman. Sometimes you just need those old school, rugged shutdown guys, and I think Kovacevic is that type of guy. Derek H., one Devil player from the past you could add to this team right now, not named, oh God, I love these games. Not named Elias, Brodeur, Niedermeyer, or Stevens. Who would you add? I think, did you ask this before? Or did someone else? Would be hard to say no to Claude Lemieux personally. I mean, because you exclude all those other guys, Claude Lemieux is easily on the short list. In no particular order, the guys that I would love to add, Claude Lemieux is on the short list for sure. Like I said, this is no particular order, so I'm just going to be like a stream of consciousness type of answers. But Claude Lemieux is 1,000% on the list. Bobby Holik is definitely on the list. Randy McKay is on the list. John Madden is on the list. Jamie Langenbrunner is on the list. I mean, there's a ton of other guys I can make a case for, but I think those would be amongst the top. Lemieux, Holik, McKay, Langenbrunner. I would say Zach Parise, but I feel like if in this particular game, I would like a bigger guy. Ilya Kovalchuk for sure is on the list. Covey, Zach, who else were on those teams? Penny. Yeah, a sneaky underrated one would be like a Travis Zajac type would be nice. I think I already said Madden. Alex, I'm not down on Dougie. He's playing great this year, and that's why it's a problem for Nemitz in the medium term. I was high on Kovechkin since Prague. His physical game is exactly what we needed. Sorry, Nemitz. He's as good as traded. Also, you want to lock up Luke so Jack isn't tempted to leave in NJ after his deal. Ace time to Trump and Deuce. Hamilton has been way better the last couple of games and started to score goals too. Kovalchuk, yep. Oh, yeah, Traveling Devil Arnott, 1,000%. I don't know how I could forget him. Yep, I said Travis. Arnott definitely on there. Arnott, because this team has no big centers, Arnott and Holik would probably be very high on my list. As would Zajac, just because center, but Arnott and Holik are just two big boys whose games I really liked. The guy who does the Rangers games on the radio said he thinks Ottawa will trade Brady to the Rangers. Oh, boy, I hate to see that. Brendan Smith better be on your list. Bud Madden, I said him. Nemitz is supposed to be more of a two-way D-man. Sikora, I like, but it would be hard for him to leapfrog those other guys on the list just because I would like size. I'm emphasizing size. Rafalski, love Rafalski, but on this team, SST, we have tons of D. I'm definitely picking a forward. Parise, I mentioned. Gomer, yep, Gomer would be on the list. 2000 version of Alex Mogilny could be on the list. Amagi, that was terrible. Hell no to Timu, Brendan Dillon. Heavier, edgier, more violent, damn it. LOL, happy holidays, Ace. All right, guys, this is the portion of the show where I got to take a whizzer. I'll be back in like 2 minutes. We'll start winding down another marathon. Your New Jersey Devils going to Detroit. Get in a back alley scrap. Glass bottles, rocks were thrown. This one was an absolute just alleyway knife fight. Your New Jersey Devils survive it 5-4. Coming home tomorrow night against the Caps. I might have to go. We'll see if the spirit moves me. What about Mogilny on Jack's line? I like Mogilny. I do picture like a more physical winger for those guys, but Mogilny, whenever you put skill on skill on skill. All right, I'll be back 2 minutes. You guys know the drill. We'll start winding down when I return. Curious to see what you come up with. Be right back in 2 minutes. Oh, man, what a game. What a day. What a day to be a Devils fan. This team is revitalized. Dirty Devil vodka, smooth as hell. Look at this shirt. This shirt is so cool. My man Derek from Dirty Devil hooked me up with this. I'm supposed to be getting some bottles of Dirty Devil to give out as contest prizes, as well as this sweet shirt with the Marty Brodeur, the MB30 logo. For those of you old enough to remember, co-branded merch, the Dirty Devil vodka, smooth as hell. This is so hard to show all this while I'm on here. There you go. That's on the sleeve. The MB30 logo. Wow. What a fire t-shirt. I'd like to see the MB30 logo maybe be a little more prominent, but super sick shirt. Hoping to get some of those to give away. I have a lot of things planned, guys. So little time, so many technological deficiencies, but it's all coming. It's all in the works. Sheldon Sore, what a beauty. I can't pick defensemen. For the exercise of that game with picking guys not named, all those top guys, I love Sheldon Sore, but hard to pick a defenseman because our defense is set. I would get help up front. Jack Bratt, Brendan Smith line would go hard. John NJ Devils, what's up, man? I'm rocking my heavier, edgier, more violent shirt tomorrow night at the Rock. Let's go. Let's go. Heavier, edgier, more violent. Joe Neuendijk would be on my list as well. Love me some Joe Neuendijk. Very, very good center. He would be a great addition on this team. Wash your hands. Yeah, Arnott I like because he was just a bull. Arnott and Holik. Arnott slightly more skilled, but him and Holik, those big bullish centers. Friesen would be a pretty sick ad too, though not physical clutch in the playoffs. Not absolutely. Ace, you should play some metal music during his bathroom breaks. Let's talk about the greatest goal ever scored in Devils history. I believe that's right over my head. If I duck down, right above my head, that's the greatest Devils goal scored in history. Mr. Arnott from Patty Eliash. Bang. Game 6. The cup is yours. That would be epic. SST, if you forgot, Chael Sonnen is undefeated. Chael Sonnen never lost a round. Jack McCabe, if you could pick any all-time player to put on Jack's wing, someone who's heavier, edgier, more violent, who would you pick? On Jack's wing. Wing is tough. I'm going to come back to that one in a minute, Jack. Rupp game 7. Also with our situation, Terrari, Arnott double overtime. Wolf Rockin', I need a bottle ace. I can't find one near Brick. You're the best, brother. All right, Wolf, email me. See what I could do. I could have sworn there was locations on there, but I'm working with Dirty Devil to do some contests for those of you over 21 to get some bottles. Amagi, if Brady gets the NJ, Ace is going to stiff arm a kid to get Brady's time in the tunnel. If we ever got Brady, I'm going to host a parade, and I'll try to make it the biggest thing ever. What would you say is the greatest hit in Devils history? Oh, the greatest hit in Devils history is hands down Scott Stevens cracking Lindros in Game 7 of the 2000 Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think there's anything even close. Easily, given the gravity of the situation, what was on the line, the Devils fighting back from down 3-1. Scotty on Eric Lindros Game 7, easily the biggest hit in Devils history. Ryan, a win tomorrow would be huge. Back-to-back win, a win at home, and a statement game to the Metro definitely would be. Stevens versus Lindros. Absolutely, Traveling Devil. Go Boro. My favorite hit is still the Kozlov hit, but I don't know if I'll say it might be the best Devils hit. It's up there, but it can't be more than it can't be bigger than a Game 7 taking out Lindros. McKay would definitely be in the running to be on Jack's wing. Yager on Jack's wing would be prime Yager. I mean, so you're talking like Yager in his prime or Devils Yager. I mean, the Yager on the Devils was old, but he still led the team in scoring one year. John, NJ Devils, that I was there. That goal means the world to me. You were at Game 6 in Dallas in 2000, John. I hate you. I don't think I know anyone who was there. You might be the first. John, you were at Game 6 in Dallas? Confirm. Korea hit was huge too. It was, but they lost the game. Big hit in the moment, but they ended up losing. Korea came back from the dead and scored a goal. Korea hit sucked. Yeah, so Jack, I'm thinking about this. McKay is definitely on the list. If you're given the criteria of heavier, edgier, more violent, McKay is definitely on the list. I'd have to consider my man Billy Guerin too. Love me some Billy G. He's, to me, a very underrated power forward in Devils history. Not a lot of people talk about Billy Guerin. He would definitely be in the running as well. If you're talking about Yager in his prime, then that's a no-brainer. If you're talking about, Pittsburgh Penguins mullet days, Yager in his prime, that would be the answer. Ripper Game 7. Heavier edge or more violent. All-time players in their prime, not just Devils. Oh, God. Let me see. I mean, Ovechkin is kind of heavier, edgier, more violent. A prime Ovechkin would be a very interesting situation as well, for sure. Brendan Shanahan, perfect. Chris Pronger and Jerome McGinley. Well, Pronger's a defenseman, so I don't know what question we're on now. Delancey, big win today, absolutely. Traveling Devil, build an all-time Devils team up to this point, Ace. Me and one of my buddies used to play this game all the time. Traveling, are you counting the players as the version that was on the Devils, or or the player in their prime? That's the big question mark on that one for me. Hope we win back-to-back tomorrow. I hope so too. Traveling Devil. On the Devils. That's too hard to do on the spot. I'd have to really think about that one. That's some real hard decisions. And then it's like when you form the team, is your fourth line going to be like, are you making it as like a true fourth line? Or are you just picking like the best players available to put on the fourth line? That's where it gets tricky for me. It's like, yeah, you're trying to build a true fourth line, or am I just going to pick the best players and just make them the fourth line? That's where these exercises get exciting. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it like that, then like I would be hard pressed to not have the crash line as the fourth line. The A line would have to be your top line or your second line at worst. I know it's funny. I would start Jake Allen a couple of games. Taylor Hall reboot would be interesting. Ace is pulling a Mitch McConnell. Frozen. You guys are ruthless. Prime Hall. Hard to leave a prime Taylor Hall, or at least the Hart Trophy season Taylor Hall off the list. Do it like it's a lineup for the game. You, NJ Swamp Fox, Ace, you have the best fan base Devil site. Appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Go Boro. This question would make a nice video. I thought about making a video for this. Jack McCabe, some NHL reporter, I can't remember, said that the NHL is doing a quarter-century team for every team. Devils would obviously have 30 in net and 26 on left wing. Who do you have at the rest of the spots? Oh, is it just the five players and one in net? If that's the case, I mean, it's also like how nitty gritty are they getting with the details? Yeah, Jack. So it's going to be exactly what you expect. Marty's going to be in net. The defensemen are going to be Stevens and Niedermeyer. And I imagine it'll be Patty. Oh, man. Who would the other two forwards be? That's the real only question marks to me. If you're talking about just the five players plus the goalie. I mean, the goalie and the defense is very easy. I'd imagine Patty's a shoo-in for forward spots. And you're talking about another winger and a center. It's an interesting one. I could see different people having different lists when it comes to that. Obviously the goaltender and the defenseman would be the same on everyone's list. So the only variation you'd get amongst different lists would be a couple of the forwards. NJ Swamp Fox, the question should be who, if anyone from this team, could be on the All Devils team? Are you going on potential? Like, that's a loaded question too, Swamp Fox. If you're going on like potential or whatever, if I'm being real, the only ones who would even get consideration on an All Devils team would really be Jack and Bratter. Oh, and Nico too. No disrespect to Capitan. Those three would be the only ones really, in my opinion, that would garner consideration. Jack, Bratter, and Nico. That would be it. There's no one else that's even remotely, in my opinion. Let me think. Maybe Dougie, but Nico, Bratter, and Jack would definitely be in the mix. Go Boro. Ace, who was your favorite obscure Devils player? What do you consider obscure? I guess it all comes down to what is your definition of obscure? Is Christoph Oliwa obscure? If he's obscure, he's up there. Or is obscure like you played a couple games or like, half of a season or a guy that nobody knows? Yeah, it all comes down to how do you define obscure? Trying to think of some obscure guys that I liked. Yeah, what do you mean by what does obscure mean to you? 12 forwards, 6 defense, 2 goalies. You want the full team. One line is too easy. NJ Swamp Fox, I agree. Jack, Brad, and Nico are the only ones if you go on potential, no one else. Yep, I fully agree there. Obscure as like stayed less than like 2 years, maybe never went beyond the third line, maybe in and out of the AHL. Like, does Cam Jansen count as obscure? He doesn't fit all those criteria. But if Cam Jansen fits your criteria, he's definitely on my list. Cam, even though I wouldn't consider him obscure, but I guess some people would. Obscure, how about unsung Doug Brown? Doug Brown, before my time, I believe, was one of the 3 answers to tonight's trivia question, which was, I think it was name the 3 players that have registered 100 points for both the Devils and Red Wings. And the answer was Brendan Shanahan, Brian Rafalski, Doug Brown. Turco, what's up, Ryan? You should do call-ins during tomorrow's post-game show. Okay, I could reopen the phone lines. I've been lazy. I've been trying to incorporate a software solution so I don't have to blare it. But maybe I'll just do it the old school way and just blare it through. Clarkson. I wouldn't say Clarkson can't be obscure. Obscure Essatikinen. Oh, God. Amagi, you ever going to get the story of why Joe Stalja has been banished from the Ace realm? Probably not. It's not really a story worth telling. Love the aging Peter Stastny. Cape Dwellers going way back. Back in the days. All right, that's it, guys. This is another freaking marathon out here. Got to rest my old bones. Got to record another video, and I got to get ready because your New Jersey Devils escaped a knife fight, a straight-up mugging tonight in Detroit, beating the Red Wings by a score of 5-4, overcoming a 2-0 deficit early on. We'll be back in action tomorrow at home against the Caps. How about the Ranger dude you had on Postline Brawl? Well, he'll be back. It's so funny. I was thinking about if I don't go to the game, I was thinking about inviting him over my house for the game on Monday and having him back on after the for the live stream. I forgot that he was on. Oh man, that's too funny. Dowd is obscure. How about him? Is Dowd that obscure, though? He's a cup champ. I can't consider a cup champ obscure. I mean, if you're going to count him as obscure, then so be it. I don't think he is, but Jeff, Elias, Arnott, Sakura, Friesen, Gomez, Langenbrunner, McKay, Holik, Mogilny, Breland, Madden, Pandolfo. Leaves off a lot of Hall of Famers, but I like those lines a lot in the modern NHL. And bravo to you, sir. A very, very, very respectable list. Hard to... Oh, shit. I'm hitting all kinds of stuff. Hard to argue with that list. I'm just trying to think real quick. What are the names that jump off the page that you don't have? I do like that lineup. Yeah, tons of Hall of Famers not making it. No Neuendijk, no Shanahan, no Anderchuk. Yeah, so you went with the A line, and then you went with an improved Crash line as your third line, swapping out my man Mike Peluso for Mogilny. So a McKay, Holik, Mogilny third line with the Breland, Madden, Pando, three of the most underappreciated Devils of all time that have a whopping 7 Stanley Cup rings amongst the three of them. Breland obviously on all 3 Devils Cup teams with Madden and Pando both on both the 2000 and 2003 team. A lot of freaking rings represented on this list right here, though. Shit. What a list of legends. What an absolute list of legends. Yeah, no Claude Lemieux is a big one. Hard for me not to have Claude Lemieux on one of these lists, but yeah, I can't. It's a very nice lineup you put there. Really good list. I'm actually going to take a picture of this to reference later. That's a very solid list, though, Jeff. Cape Dweller, well, I'm old. Go Boro. It's still so cool to see Ace, and you know what? Love a messy game. Listen, love the W. They're not all going to be. They're not all going to be pretty. Go Boro. It'd be cool if he could come over too. Festive season's here and Wreck the Rag season is here too. Party time. Oh man, if I text him, he's going to be so giddy that people asked about him. I don't know if I want to give his ego that sort of hold up. I'm going to call him now. You guys are funny. Let me call him real quick. Yeah, and then I got to get out of here. I'm getting delirious from these that's at what, Monday? Yeah, I know he has no plans. He's got nothing going on. Let me see. We're going to call him. This is the ghetto call system. Yeah, Garen Shanahan are 2 big ones omitted. Johnny Mack. Geez, you are still alive. I am.
Hello?
Yo, what's up, bitch? You're live on the air.
Bitch?
You're live on the air, running with the Devils. I don't know why. Multiple people was like asking if you were going to make an appearance after the Rangers game on Monday, and I was like, I really don't like the kid that much, but let me give him a call and see. So I'm inviting you on the air, assuming I don't go to the game, which I don't think I will.
Right.
Was calling to see if you're available to come over Monday night to watch the Devils Rangers game and then take some abuse on the post-game show.
Let's do it.
There it is, folks. There you
Let's
have
do
it. The disgruntled Rangers fan will be in the building.
Man, I will be there.
Will be in the building, hopefully licking his wounds and just taking absolute abuse on the post-game live, because if, God forbid, the Rangers somehow win, they're on a 5-game skid. Hopefully they lose tomorrow.
Looking good.
Hopefully they lose tomorrow against Montreal. They're on a 6-game skid, and then hopefully the Devils could give them their 7th consecutive loss. Would love to see it, but I will talk to you later to firm up the details, I suppose. And I told them you'd be all giddy because you have no life, and you know, anyone calling your phone would bring you joy, and you have nothing going on. So I was like, let me call him. I'm sure he's got no plans, and he'd love to come over and watch the game and get abused. But I will talk to you later, sir.
All right, bro.
Peace.
All right, later.
And there you have it. The disgruntled Rangers fan will be in the building Monday night, barring I don't go to the game. I don't think I will, but, you know, I never say never. I've made rasher decisions in my life. Force him to drink Marty's vodka when he comes over. Maybe he'll bring Lundqvist's line of purified water. Yo, bring the tissues. F the rags. Oh, John Ginkley. Mike Danton would be considered obscure. I have a great Mike Danton story. I was going to make a video on it. I have an excellent Mike Danton story stemming from when he was Mike Jefferson, I believe. I might have to go back and check now, but it's a Mike Jefferson / Danton story. I think it was video worthy. I was going to try to reach out to Mike about it. Pretty interesting thing, but I'm glad. Let me write that down here in my notes. I'm glad that someone just mentioned his name, because that jogged my memory of the idea. Where's my notes here? Mike Danton. Mr. Jefferson. Devils fans booing the hell out of Lundqvist during Marky's tribute video is absolutely hilarious. Dumbest hit job fail of all time. All right, guys, that's it. That is it. Thank you so much for joining on tonight's to this afternoon's, whenever it started, post-game live. Your New Jersey Devils go to Detroit, survive the sloppiest game in a while, win 5-4, back in action tomorrow at the Rock, hosting the Capitals, another big one. Hopefully we kick their ass. Hopefully Jake Allen looks good. And I told you, I'm not just a bleeding heart for Markstrom guy. I'll throw Allen out there Monday night in the Garden against the Rags. But enjoy the rest of your, I'm losing track of days here. Today's Black Friday. Enjoy your Friday night. We'll be back tomorrow. Maybe a pregame as well as a postgame. Maybe I'll go to the game. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Lots of things are up in the air, but I'll be back soon. And that's all I got for you. Thanks for coming out. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Until next time, friends, let's go Devils.